also announced Gemini 3.6 Flash, Gemini 3.5 Flash Lite, and Gemini 3.5 Flash Cyber. Now, why is this significant? Because we know last week we were hearing reports that they might even be delaying this Gemini 3.5. So it sounds like they're ready to release this soon. So that's going to be a bit of a change of pace. They've already apparently begun training for the Gemini 4 AI model as well. Now it's time here to talk about NVIDIA and AMD. So here's the headline. NVIDIA just announcing that their Vera Rubin AI platform is on schedule with customer testing underway. Apparently, they said that the new Vera CPU outperforms AMD's Turin and that their platform remains on schedule for a rollout in AI data centers. So again, just NVIDIA basically big upping their own platform, saying it's better than AMD's. That's really all we have here. And then just to recap that Google story one more time, Google providing a whole bunch of AI updates. Back to you.
Boom, 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 boom. Hook. Greetings, salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. Darwin's back. Darwin the Trader. That's your boy, Joey Options. I am Sharif, and we're long. CPHI, Joey. And guess what? We're caught in an up halt. There goes CPHI into the high of the freaking day. I like that one, Joe. Up 160%, but that's not what we're here for, man. We're here for the roll call, the shout out. Shout out to who else, man? Tatsu. We got Rex Banner, John McCracken. He's cracking these trades, man. Shout out to Mike P. D. Ryder, 11-2. T, what's up, yo? Boom, right back at you, baby. We got Juan. We got Danny Day Trizzle. Shout out to Green Saber and Anon Purse. Purse? Yeah. Crypto. We got Big Wig Energy. I'm gonna say that wrong one day. I just know I'm gonna get fired. See ya. Money Clip, yeah. We got Dark Side, Ichiro, my man. Options and Deep. Andrew Chow's in the house. Shout out to Georgie 22. Ozan, we are here for the 69 cents. Shout out to my man Ozan, who's not nearly as sarcastic in person.
Yeah.
I did say that, but I want to remind everybody. Zen Zombie. Trading Ritz, Roger Noonan, Buffalo Soldier. We got Capote and Taylor Batty, Byron Hart. Shout out to my man there. VPN, Mike P.D. Ryder. We already mentioned that one. Coach UV. Who else, man? Red Potato 007, Mr. Janky Stock Assassino. And I'm going to do one more. Otherwise, Assassino is going to get very upset.
Do it.
We got Pug Life 77.
Oh, my God, Pug Life. Yeah, it's really nice saying Pug Life. Consistently back in the chat. All right, guys, VinFast continues to expand beyond vehicle sales. This week, VinFast India partnered with Shriram Finance to support EV financing access, while Green SM launched all-electric ride-hailing in Kazakhstan with VinFast VF6 vehicles. Together, these moves highlight VinFast's broader mobility ecosystem strategy. You can find them on the Nasdaq under ticker VFS, and you know we're not going to. Again, I said neglect is a strong word, but we're not going to forget about our boy Bravely over there on TikTok and all of our big viewers there, guys. We have DJ Vinny. Hey, DJ, what's up, DJ Vinny? Nada, what's up? I know a Nada. Fred W, what's going on? Fred, I hope everyone's having a good one. Sophia Schaff, what's up, Schaff? Burnout, Dan, chat Bravely Burner in the boy? Chat as well, too. Not Burner Boy, my bad. Burner Son, from here to there. We like that one. Arno and Jerbe, a couple more Entrepreneur Bunny. Kim Jong-un is apparently in the chat. Oh, Natty. He got around the firewall? Yeah, he got around the firewall. So now welcome to the show, the family. All right, Trinity. And who else? We got Drew 1969, Patrick Brock, Bitcoin Trader TV. Oh, okay, all right, we like that one. And that will be it for the roll call via TikTok. Now, guys, let's see what we got going on here today. A couple attempts on NVDL, but nonetheless, they didn't work out. So we abandoned ship on this one. It did start to base out. I posted up after this base was formed, but then I wasn't fortunate enough to catch any fill. So we took a couple of losses like that. But you know the kid style. Oh yeah. When I'm down a couple, it only takes me one trade to start partying once again, and then we're fully live. But unfortunately, we took another loss there, Sharif, so that's not the scenario this time. Okay. It's a little bit different. But we had this one trade right here that eliminated the majority of our losses, all right? So keep that in mind. Sharif's got something going on. We're only one trade away from eliminating everything and then going big time positive. We got to find it. Sharif's got something. Joey, there goes CPHI into 290. Give me my money, man. Here comes limit up again.
294 limit up. We got 234 on this one. There it goes into the high of the day. No, false halt, back down into the 80s. It needed 10 seconds. It only did like, I don't know, 7. 88 showing up. Limit up now is 330. There it goes through 309, 320 limit up. We're gonna 330 limit up. There it goes, Joseph. In the limit up again on the Amex network, man. This is a bamboozler in chief. Watch out. It can turn on you in a minute. I have to say that, and I won't get bored of saying it. Yeah, I'm going to stay in this, for I'm minting, right? And then it gaps down and they're out of the money.
And then they're out of the money.
They're out of the money. There it goes, Joseph. Options into $3.30. We are halted. But if you know the Amex network and the New York Stock Exchange network, the NYSE and the Amex.
Tell them about the NYSE and the Amex.
I'm going to tell them about the Amex and the NYSE. I have to, Joey.
Tell them.
Because we're going to be flying blind during the halt, my man.
Tomfoolery these guys got.
Tomfoolery, absolutely. He's not wrong at all. And the tomfoolery he's referring to is the theoretical auction price that we will not know during the halt. And that is the case for any name trading on the Amex network or the NYSE. You will only know the theoretical auction price on the Nasdaq names, okay? So we are caught blind right now, but we've got a big boy cushion between our entry and our exit. Long 234, halted 330. What a move up. Big Wick Energy.
What's he saying?
Dropping 5 Membies in the chat, man. Thank you very much, Big Wick. Gorev got one. Broken
Gore
arrow.
finally got one, man.
He did it live,
been waiting, man.
He's been waiting. Get it, Gorev. Gorev's an OG, man. Broken Arrow, 1973, Mr. Kevin G. No teeth. Oh, my days. And look at the number after that. Oh, my days. Black Hole 7V also got one. I'm going to start singing again. You guys better watch out, man. Black Hole Sun. I see that name. I start thinking, Black Hole Sun, 11-2. That's my man, Mike PD Ryder. All right, so let's shout out everybody there. Thank you very much, guys, to Big Wick Energy for the 5 memberships there. And I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that you are now able to get my morning note every single morning. Assassino, let's switch accounts over here. Let's flip back to Trader TV Live. So this is the homepage for Trader TV on YouTube. Mosey on over to that page, and then you're going to see tabs on the top: home, video, shorts, live, playlist. Click posts right there. Google, scroll down. There she is. Members only morning brief. Hit read more. A lot of you guys have been asking, I can only see the picture. I can't actually see the link. You got to click read more, man. And there's the link at the bottom there. You click that monster. You get the morning note every single day. You also get the Katina Mans and the Neil's special members only videos regarding trading setups. You are going to want to see that. I've seen them recorded, and they are quite useful in terms of trading strategy. So make sure you are getting those every day. Thank you for that again. So Joey, halt time, 11:07:15. Current time, 11:10:03. So we've got about another 2 minutes and change before CPHI first opens. So keeping an eye on that. Zen Zombie, good luck on getting CPHI at 290 last minute. LOL. I didn't get it at 290. Right there, you see that. Well, I didn't actually want to take it out there, to be quite honest with you. I wanted to take it out at 3, but it zigged and zagged, right? So we had to take it out at around, I think it was a little bit higher than 290, brother, but I'll double check. In any event, keeping an eye on this one, but there are more. It's not just the CPHI show. GRE is making big moves. We got Vivek Ramaswamy over here, VIVK. We're going to call it Vivek the rest of the day. We got ONDL, which is a leveraged name. We got ASTX, another leveraged name. NXXT, this is not a leveraged name, but it is also south of 50 pennies, but it's at the frickin' day high, 33 pennies. NXXT, bottom right of your screen. We got NUAI, which is a holdover from yesterday, putting in a decent bull flag pattern, where I perceive a flat top break brewing here between 570 to 575. And then we got HOVA, HOVR. Yeah, Young Hove, Katina Manuel. It's coming back in a little bit, but that's all right. Still above the 10 EMA. So, and by the way, these 8 here, it's a non-exhaustive list because I just couldn't fit all the small cap gappers showing up on my scanners. But the pickings today, they are certainly not slim, Joey.
All right, man. That's good. That's good to hear. So let's see what we got going on here. I mean, as the Nasdaq approaches the high of the day, and here's the triple Qs. Now, as for NVDA, a little bit of a choppy session, but what we did have here is the majority of this gap up filled. So you can see in the blue ocean session there, ladies and gentlemen, that you had a nice little day. So 203, open up around 204.70. Nice quiet PA, gives you a little bit under $1. Now we have this inverted hammer candle. So we had a catalyst step in here.
Apple news.
And then sure enough, bang, it goes. Is Apple moving? Let's see if we can figure it out.
There's news, yeah.
All right, is it moving? Is the question?
Kind of. Yeah, it's okay,
did the volume step in? Is really what I want to see.
It's that high day.
Is it? Of course it is.
So should we send it to?
Yeah, of course, man.
Keep an eye out on Apple here, climbing to the upside at the moment. Apple will be launching Apple Upgrade Device Leasing Program. So for iPhones, iPads, Macs, and Apple Watches in partnership with Klarna. Just again, huge uptick on Apple over here, climbing on the day. Apple will be launching an Apple Upgrade Device Program for iPad, iPhones, as well as MacBooks and watches, Apple Watches in partnership with Klarna.
I like this headline, Sia, because we know that Apple's raising prices on essentially all their products, right? Because of the RAM and how much that's costing, memory costs. So I do like the fact that they're going to give you a method or two where you can kind of subsidize, where it's not subsidized, but at least, you don't have to fork over everything at once. To be quite honest with you, though, I think, these programs, good from Apple for doing that, but we already have the Affirms, the Klarnas, all that kind of stuff. I know a lot of the telecom industries, they also do in-company subsidization. So we'll have to see if this moves the needle, but when you have price increases like this, it's not really bad to offer the consumers a different option.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't disagree. I couldn't agree more. Here it is, SpaceX. Let's see what happens with this thing. We know Cathie Wood looking to, or has added to her position here. Now, if this closes as the inverted, we can go long some SSPC to see if we get a move back in towards the volume weighted average price. Other than that, man, it's hyper focused for me. I want to turn this day around. And with that being said, there's going to be minimal but more precision trades here for the kid. So my thesis on Bitcoin was a pull back below the volume weighted average price for that additional leg higher. We're not getting it. We're still hovering around, and you can see that this resistance zone that's currently acting as a support system holding up relatively well. So if the momentum picks up a little bit here, then I like our chances for anything south of this specific indicator. Now, we do have multiple touches up here in this neck of the woods, 37.92. With that being said, let's see what $38 is bringing us on the options chain. We're going to go through a couple of names right now, and one of them is going to be NVDA, that's for sure. And we can take a look at Apple, considering they just had a catalyst hit. But yesterday, it was up there in the top volume names, but it wasn't anything crazy. 38,000. Oh, okay. So maybe we climb up to $38. Maybe we climb up to 38.50 here, because I believe this can be absorbed here on IBIT. Moving forward, we have NVDA. Let's see what this bad boy's up to. Why are we rejecting the high of the day of around 208.75? So 209, 210. Is there anything substantial? Ozan, there is not, my friend. Look how much cooler this open interest in the supply is from a short interest is how we're going to look at it. 90,000 contracts at this 210 marker last week, not necessarily the case this week. So what this tells me is that one of the larger float and one of the most liquid underlying assets in the market, I think we can absorb some of this and maybe make a move higher. We do have an all-time high before we send it off to Sia. What is our all-time high on NVDA? 238, I believe, or something along those lines. We'll figure that out right now. 236.
Yeah, you're pretty close,
yeah, I think we can get pretty, not saying this week, but in the near future, I believe, especially after earnings, I think we can move in that direction. Leading up to earnings is going to be really important via options and open interest. See ya.
U.S. President Donald Trump saying, and USO falling a little bit here, that we feel very good about Lebanon and we'll make a lot of progress with Lebanon's president, Joseph Aoun. And he's saying that Lebanon has a very good relationship with the United States. USO just falling over here. Keep an eye out. Lebanon has been hit hard for many decades. Relationship with Lebanon, very good.
Case, I was just about to message you about DFNS. Okay, so this looks really good, Case. So it's a multiple halter, obviously, which means it's right down your alley, Case. Yes, we halted up initially, 1031, rips up. into about 703, 739 high, halts down 652, halts down again 516, ripping now into 693, knocking on the door of 7. This is the 1 minute chart on DFNS. Sorry, I didn't throw in the ticker. I apologize. Let's throw that on now for everybody. DFNS. We're suffering from price action below $7 right now. Couple of topping tails. I have to mention that at $7, a dual whammy. The whole dollar resistance, of course, and the halt level was like 702 or something like that. So be on the lookout. Looks really good here, Case. I like it. I think it is a little spready, though, which could put it on Uncle Sheriff shit list, but we're going to find out. Let's have a look over here. DFNS, NQ. Not bad, Case. 9 pennies for a multiple halter opening up to 50. Now there goes. Wow, I'm going to get caught in up halt again.
That's good.
Should I let it go? I'm just going to let it go.
Yeah, ride it.
I'm going to let it ride. Let's go. CPHI. Here comes another up halt again. 397, limit up. 3, 2, 1. Let's go, man. One day I'm just going to get it right. Boom. Into another up halt. 397, limit up 336%. CPHI is Rip City right now. It could be on the way to $5. You know, you get that close into 4, we start thinking 5, right? So we're going to keep a close eye on that one. I've got a new trade alert over here. Shout out to my man, the Katina man. We're looking to wet the beak here on NXXT. Let's take some profits there as it flat top breaks through 33. We're looking for more. I'm thinking, 35 to 37 pennies. Let's see where this one ends up going. It's not up big. It's only 22.25%, but it looks fantastic. KC 526, dropping more membies in the chat. 5 memberships. Thank you very much, Case, there. And I know why she's dropping membies, because DFNS is ripping, Joey. It just ripped again into another close high a day. 736 Case, limit up, high a day, 739. Now it's 748 limit up. So we're going to take out the high of the day, it looks like, in momentarily. And there goes the high of the day into 740. We're talking about 748 limit up here, Case, on DFNS, and it's like right out the door. So keep your eye out on this one. There's a lot going today in small cap gapper world. I made that abundantly clear when I said I couldn't fit all the names onto the H side chart. So it's a day for the small cap traders. Trade them carefully, though. You know they can turn on you in a second. So beautiful look here. Case, 766 now limit up. It moved up from 48 into 66. DFNS. Bleeding its own blood in the inverse.
What happened to kids this morning, man? This thing has the most amount of volume. Yeah, I know. I feel when they get too crowded, this is when you get this tomfoolery start to step in. Like, this has 224 million shares traded here on the day. And as soon as it cracked that support level, so you have this failed ascending wedge broken, and then it's just boom, AC Slater to the downside on this bad boy. Too much volume, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. You guys trade that a little bit more than I do, but I love the momentum style play. There was a couple opportunities and a couple of names that I was looking at not too long ago. Vivek, I guess we can call this one, $9. If we get that break, that could be a good opportunity. But Shreve's got the right one here. Beautiful halts, especially at that high of the day. So there's a 1030, we'll call it roughly, pivot high of around $2.10, and then it just breaks through with volume, and then now it's on its third halt. So that's a pretty good look. What's the top on this bad boy? Is it?
We can't know,
Joey. It's Amex, right? Is that the one? Yeah, fair enough. So we're going to stick to our guns over here and see if we get this set up on Bitcoin for an additional leg higher. Now, I do suspect that it's going to take a little bit of time for it to turn around, which is totally fine. We're patient. We got plenty of time, man. I ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So, yeah, I mean, we got another 2.5 hours here, Sharif. So let's see if we can be patient and wait for high quality. Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't call it stuck. But, yeah, we're here. That's for sure. Oh, Katina Man's still here, too. He's summing up. It's
good, Katina, man. It's just humid as hell, though. But you're
good. Yeah, because of the rain, man.
Well,
it was the rain. Is the sun out? Is the sun out?
No, you're not going to see the sun till tomorrow.
We're not seeing the sun into black gold. So I've seen Assassino had his lunch already fired up here this morning, so maybe we'll get that figured out here momentarily. But this is the key level, 37.75 right here on IBIT is where we're going to get that prime time entry. There could be an additional opportunity here for NVDA, but why bother right at the volume weighted average price when we could have had the lower end of the range? But what we do have is the Nasdaq continuously putting in new highs of the day. What do you got? What do we got? Oh,
the jerk, eh? Okay. What's wrong, Joey?
Boy, anyways, hey man, you know how it goes around here, these neck of the woods, Sharif. We got to find another trade, my brother. I don't see anything right now. You got the small cap land really working out for you right now, and that's what we want to see. Momentum is my thing. Palantir, how you performing on today? I don't like anything right now, man. So yesterday wasn't in love with anything, walk away with a small green session. Today, the exact same narrative. And we're heading into earnings. So I do believe for leading up into it, so when we get those big names to report in a couple of weeks after, is when those high quality opportunities really start to display themselves. Right now, I got nada.
All right, I'm in my third trade here. We're trying our hand at DFNS case. I see some buying at 8. All right, it already got stopped out. All right, I gave it too tight of a stop. I still like DFN. Okay, well, actually, it's putting in lower highs. So the buyers are stepping in at 2/3, okay? So maybe I can bottom pick 2/3 and weasel in there, or I can get in here and give it to 2/3. So I'm looking for a move. I almost had this one through 7.5. It got close. It got to like 42 or 43. Didn't quite drop down. There goes CPHI into another high day, and I get out before limit down. 445 high. We took out 4. Limit down now at 320. Watch out, guys. CPHI. Limit down now into 320. We need another few seconds. Boom. You know what, bro?
What?
I should have had that 445 there, man.
Wait, which
I was
one?
going to put 433.
What did you get out at?
4.
Oh, I mean, hey, man.
No, man, that's a mistake.
Not really. Like, dude, look where you got it right at the open of the candle, pretty much.
You know, can I say something?
For sure.
I was focusing on the other one. I was trying to get into DFNS.
Right, well, blame DNS.
Yeah, and there it goes. Options, man. It's okay. Let's go to see you.
Or a couple comments coming in from U.S. President Donald Trump saying that he's announcing Israel is redeploying some of its forces. Trump stating that Israel is currently withdrawing from Lebanon. So there's a lot of this statements going on. He's also saying that Israel is in the process of withdrawing from Lebanon and is in the process of redeploying other sections. If anything more comes in, I will be sure to let you know. But USO currently climbing a little bit here.
Why though? That's good news. It's so bizarre, but whatever. Thank you, Sia, for that. Good to know. You know that at least maybe there's some sort of semblance of, well, who knows? In any event, I'm watching here DFNS. I had a feeling this was going to rocket. And there it goes into another high day. So DFNS 787. I ain't talking about the airplane that's delayed. I'm talking about DFNS into the high of the day. Here comes 7 again. Does it defend 7? There's buyers here in and around 7. It's got some higher lows. Let's give this one the old college try. We're going to give this one into an area high. We're looking for 787. I stop out below 2/3. We're going to go back up to see it.
Keep an eye out again. U.S. President Donald Trump still speaking, saying Iran wants to meet. We have no interest. I have no interest in meeting Iran until they are ready. And Iran wants to desperately meet. But USO is still on the climb at the moment. And we're going to take a look at how the market overall is doing right now. SPY currently trading up on the day, 0.75%. You have the triple Qs as well, climbed a little bit. U.S. President Donald Trump still talking. When and as he speaks, I will update you if there's anything important.
Go ahead.
All right, man. Yeah. Let's head over and take a look at some of these names that are up double digits here. This guy, I mean, like SK Hynix, there you go, bang. Well, blammo on that one, 14% off that all-time high. So we're going to be looking at this at somewhat of a discount. Now, SanDisk was an additional name to the tune. 45% almost from peak to that local low, starting to find somewhat of a balance. But I do believe that this downtrend is still intact, guys. Just be cautious, right? Like, it's not going to be, even though this was pretty quick, I don't believe it's going to be a waterfall style play where it's just like, okay, in the span of 2 months, it's just loses 60% of its value. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. Just be cautious of these bull traps. Okay. Western Digital, 12% to the top side. Now $800 all the way down to $400. So that was cut in half. I mean, it makes things so much more difficult. And I've been saying since day one, as soon as I've seen this stuff just like day after day, 10%, 15%, 8%, you wake up, it's gapped up 7%. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Continue to do what you're doing. It's unfortunate that I missed the initial run, but there's no chance that I was going to chase it. And if you were patient enough, you get it at a 50% discount pretty much, right? Instead of just being, oh man, this thing is, and getting the FOMO and one day after the other being like, I'm missing. No, patience. And then you slowly start to dabble. Next thing you know, your average price is as close to the lows as you possibly can, and you fully allocated your position. So that's where I stand when it comes to this memory name. I don't think that it's completely done. The numbers are supporting it, I'll tell you that. And I believe that we have this longer runway where we can continue to appreciate. Right now, let us take a little bit of a breath because it was too fast, in my opinion.
There goes DFNS, man. We got the $0.25. We just took out 8s. 827 case, limit up. We're having trouble with 8, but we have a lot of support at 7, man. You can just feel when it's a small cap day, man. It just, you can tell, because there's just a lot running on the scanner, right? I think the scanner is the dead giveaway here. Looking for an aggressive move above 8. The high of the day is 813. I'm looking for 8 1/3. Limit up is 827, but that could change. There it goes, 810. Looking for a little bit more, right? 813, we're right back into the high of the day. Somebody's selling in and around the 8 area. We're taking profits, of course, right? Looking for a big move on the bid above 8. We're seeing the ask move above 8. We're not necessarily seeing both sides of the level 2 mosey on up. So a little, I don't want to say concerned, but alive to that. Looking at the bid here. So look at the bid. See how it stays in the 90s? The ask moves above 8. The bid does not. Here we go. We have our first opportunity. It did move above, but it didn't hold. Looking for a little bit more here. So still selling at $8. Nothing for me to do here other than to watch the price action fail or take out my level. So just continuing to watch. I've got another trade on here that I have to manage because we need to wet the beak here as well, right? So we're going to take off some here on NXXT. Let's take that out there. How we doing here on DFNS? Can't look away from this one. Too much bleeding its own blood. Does it hold the $0.50? If it loses the $0.50, I'm out, right? So where are they selling now? There's the $0.50. I'm gone. Out there, watching. Does it come back up? We're still putting in higher lows on the 5-second chart. Just by way of example, I want to show you what I'm looking at. So this is the 5-second chart. That's why it looks so sporadic. But the fact of the matter is trend is holding, but that is being put into question now because we're right into that 740 area. To me, though, it's still holding these higher lows on the 5. So it could be a possible reload opportunity here in and around the $0.50. Keeping a close eye on this one. DFNS continues to give while others take away. It's bleeding now, though. Not touching this one. Let's let it reset at $7. But there's a lot going on today. My days. Usually we don't start this aggressive here, but let's wet the beak as well. Again, on NXXT as I focus here on DFNS. CPHI still halted down for anybody who's interested. It's still halted down to around 3 and change, 320. It looks like it's going to be a 10-minute halt, if not more. 720. Yeah, it is, of course. 11:23:12 halt time. Earliest open 11:33:12 now that we've surpassed the 5 minutes. Focusing back again here on DFNS, looking for this big move up. It's still holding trend. So I want to show you guys this trend line over here that I drew. See how it's just continuing to hold in the higher lows? So there could be another attempt here at a decisive breakthrough 8. The best we've done on the day is 814. That is the HOD on DFNS. So nothing else for me to do there. Yeah, I know. I give the play-by-play. I'm sorry, bro. You could auction off cars. Man, I wouldn't mind that job, Gregory, to be honest with you, man, as long as they let me drive the car.
Oh.
Like, we could take that, Joey. Could have a good time there. All right. NXXT coming down a little bit here. So into 35, 36 we go. 33 pennies, give or take, is the 10 EMA on the 5. So I'm trying to decide whether I should be getting in a little bit more here. And the reason I say that, Assassino, is because we have this kind of flat top at 33, right? That we rejected multiple times. You can see it on the 5 on the bottom chart. You can see it on the 1 on the top chart. So if it's really that much of a resistance level, it probably behooves me to add to this 33. So I'm going to give this one a little bit more thought while we send you up to Adira and Juan for the Euro close. We'll see if it holds 33. If it does, I'm going to add to the position. Zen Zombie says KI Diaz is starting to move. I'm going to look at that when we get back from Adira and Juan.
It's always worth noting that the U.S. market here, the Nasdaq and the NYSE, these are not the only opportunities, especially if you are trading from all around the world. So here to take us through the European close to end today's session in Europe is Juan.
Thank you so much, Adira. So looking really good in Europe. Mostly positive numbers, all in the green, lifted by, of course, a rebound in technology as well as stabilizing energy markets. Let's take a look at some of the indexes here. Stoxx 0600 up by 0.41%. That basically edged up a little bit higher. Strong banking sector, about 0.8% higher, as well as, of course, recovering tech lines outpacing automotive trims. Now, we take a look also in Germany right now. They found a huge technical flaw. Like I said, all the tech rebounding. Siemens Energy up by 1.2%, as well as Infineon rebounding up by 2.2% to end the day. Now, in France, they also did quite well, above the average. ST Microelectronics advancing by about 2.4%, ahead of their Q2 results that are due for later this week. And even some other names coming from France, Total Energies, up by 1.6%. Schneider Electric also up by 1.3%. And Airbus rebounding from yesterday's 1% loss to 0.5% up today. And over in the UK, we know that the new chancellor has been voted in. And June public borrowing came in lower than expected. But labor market data also suggesting that it's broadly in line with forecasts, and wage growth easing slightly in the 3 months of May. So what are we expected to see? I mean, the whole story from Europe, basically the AI trade bounce back, semiconductors rebounding. We saw a lot of strong Asian giants cascading that into Europe. ASML rose by about 2.6%. I mentioned earlier about ST Microelectronics. That's easing a lot of pressure as well ahead of those US earnings later this week. Now, one thing to note about European markets is the Trump tariff threats, okay? So Europe, they're bracing for a little bit of turbulence, especially after Trump announced those 50% tariffs on, $20 billion of Canadian imports. So European desks are expecting a watered down framework, so we might head into that a little bit throughout the week. But we know that ECB, they're having their meeting on Thursday. So recently, their Q2 survey, bank lending survey, came out. It showed a moderate net tightening of credit standards, 7% for enterprises, and that's due to higher risk perceptions, especially capital constraints on automotive as well as manufacturing sectors. So that's a lot to process in ahead of ECB coming this Thursday, but hopefully it remains in the green throughout the week.
And let's keep an eye on here for Europe. President Trump still talking, but this segment is over. You can catch Juan and I again in this desk at 3:30 p.m. to talk about the Asian markets. Back to you.
Ozan is announcing unilateral 2,000% tariffs. On who, Ozan, though? Like, are you just on everybody? Is it like a global tariff? Everybody gets clipped, like the straight, you know what I mean? What's going on there, Case? Give me my money, man. Yes, Case.
What she said,
She's doing my give me my money.
Yeah, give it to him.
Get it, Case. Yeah, she's printing up several storms. Oh, he's imposing tariffs on me? That's crazy.
Whoa.
That's crazy, Ozan. Yeah. You see that, Assassino? I'm going to have to send Assassino to see you.
Oh.
And you know what happens when Assassino shows up?
Uh-oh.
Right?
Well, you don't actually, because it's over.
It's over at that point, right?
You have no idea.
He's done at that point, man. Yeah. Shout out to my man Ozan. I would never unleash Assassino on you, Ozan. You're good people.
Yeah.
I love this. This is so good.
Me, on the other hand.
Yeah. Can I say something too?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to say something. Joseph showed me pictures of him and his family yesterday, right? It isn't the typical picture one would imagine when, someone shows a friend their family pictures. It was entirely unexpected. And all I can say is, having seen this picture, I understand why he is a registered gun owner.
Whoa. Yeah. Oh, hey, yeah, we're back.
There he is again,
You got
man.
a
There he
smile,
is
man.
again,
Crazy.
I love
crazy.
Neil. You should have seen what I saw, my man. Well, I think you have an obligation to show Neil.
Yeah, I can show Neil. Yeah, man, we can show Neil for sure, man. Yeah, man, good stuff. Good stuff when it comes to all that. But I mean, that ain't
Having a
nothing
good
for
time, bro.
for our guy Blicky Spears, man.
No,
over there in
no,
LA,
no.
those guys are all about that. Over
Hold
there
on,
in
though. My understanding is California has pretty stringent
big
rules.
time.
You got to go to Nevada for
Nevada,
that.
gotta go to
but that's
Nevada
the thing,
for
Joey,
that.
right? Like, there's
Right
nobody
there.
at that border. You go in and come in as you please.
And you go,
right?
and then you go to those some of those eastern states on the south, man.
There you
It's
go.
It's
There
just
you
like,
go.
man, what is going on here? All right,
Joey
guys.
Drag.
Yo, we're actually at some areas. This is what I've been waiting all moment for, Gorev. Now, if this doesn't display itself, it's time for us to get involved in a little bit. But I'm gonna build this position relatively large. Okay, so we get a small uptick. We're gonna start small with again a quarter of a risk unit, and then if we get the prints that we're looking for, then it's just AC Slater. You guys were patient enough with me for the past 40 minutes, even though it's felt a little bit longer. Yeah, we're prepared to rock and roll because this is what we're waiting for, and this is what we have been waiting for the majority of the day in order for us to put on that trade where we do believe that we can just really exponentially bet size on this bad boy. So we'll allow these next couple of 5-minute prints to form and close complete, and then we'll see if this is going to be our base at 37.66. If that's the case, then watch out. See, don't let this calm demeanor fool you guys.
Don't do it.
Probably not, yeah, because at the end of the day, we're gonna try to do something. I mean, we try to do it every day at the end of it of what we're talking about. But for me, I want to make this probably one of my largest positions of the day.
President Trump.
That's how I feel today.
I respect that.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that.
So you saw the 50% tariffs that President Trump lovingly issued against Canada yesterday, right? And he just made more commentaries that more tariffs could be coming. Okay, I'll continue that discussion when we get back.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye out on this ticker called DOCN, that's DigitalOcean Holdings. It's up 12% on the day, raising on-demand prices for select NVIDIA and AMD GPUs by roughly 30%. Starting the 1st of August, this cites certain strong demand for advanced AI compute. So H100 pricing will be increasing from $3.39 to $4.41. H200 from $3.44 to $4.47, and AMD's MI300X chips from $1.99 to $2.59. The ticker DOCN up 12% on the day.
Katina Man is making me laugh, man.
Yeah,
So
Katina
anyway,
Man,
he's
Katina Man,
considering.
you're not hitting the gym today, my God.
I'm thinking it's going to stop raining.
It's gonna,
is it
so it
raining?
started again outside? Because when I was walking back, Katina Man, it wasn't. But yeah, it looks like it was supposed to rain for like 13 hours today. So President Trump saying that the wildfire tariffs, he's considering more tariffs on Canada as a result of the wildfires. That is addition, of course, to the $50 billion worth of products he levied tariffs against yesterday. Now that the Kuzma / NAFTA 2.0 or whatever we're calling it has now lapsed, and the United States has, voiced their intentions to no longer be part of it. So that, obviously initiates negotiations with both Mexico and Prime Minister Carney. Just before we go to Sia, what's funny is that Prime Minister Carney and President Sheinbaum were with President Trump in the box at the final on Sunday. You think Carney would have been whispering sweet nothings in his ear, bro?
Maybe he doesn't
get
want
us a deal, man. The
get us
next
a deal.
day, he issues tariffs.
Yeah.
Like, what was Carney saying to him during
Probably
that?
not what he wanted to hear.
No.
And then we're just sending smoke their way. So,
Oh my
I mean,
days. Sweet nothings,
sweet.
Katina,
No,
man.
but he
Give me
apparently
something,
wasn't
man.
even doing that.
All right.
But like, listen, I don't want to get into it because I'm like, sorry about the wildfires. We'll send it over to you, Sia, but don't forget, how long
People
have
don't
gas
forget.
prices been elevated now? So why isn't anybody pointing the finger over there? I don't know. I don't understand. Sia.
More comments coming in from U.S. President Donald Trump saying that We will target any Iranian facility where nuclear weapons are manufactured. And he's also saying that Iran hasn't seen anything yet. We have been nice. We will be hitting, Iran is very evil people leading that country, and we will be hitting the Pickaxe Mountain area heavily pretty soon.
Yes, guys, for everybody who's, thank you, Sia, for that.
Yeah.
For everybody who's asking, guys, CPHI is still halted down. Halt time, 11:23:12. Current time, 11:41 and change. And I say this sporadically every now and again. The Amex is, it's the Wild West when it comes for these small cap cappers. You don't know what the hell is going to happen, okay? You don't even know if you're in and out of the money during the halt because you don't know what the theoretical auction price is, right? And these ones have, let's just be honest about it, lesser known companies that trade on these exchanges. So it is a little bit risky on the MX, but that is nothing that you can't get around with sound risk management skills. So we're still halted down.
Wow.
Yeah. On CPHI, we're up 251%. I want to remind everybody, the halt price is 320. The halt time is 11:23:12, and the current time is 11:42:14. So, at earliest, it'll be 11:43:14, and it is 11:42:19 now. So about a minute or so, possibly, until this one opens. That would make it a 20-minute halt, right? Waves of 5 minutes are what volatility halts come in. Ozan, my platform says suspended, not halted. Let me look. Thank you for pointing that out. Ozan, let me see if it's news pending. I don't see news pending, brother. I see on circuit breaker still. That came in at 11:24, and there's been nothing on my blotter since that time. We can always, of course, go. Well, this is the Nasdaq one. Neil, is there an equivalent Amex halt page that you know about, brother? Like similar to the Nasdaq halt page? Because I can look at it. Just one, okay. I'll keep an eye out on that, because typically what we do when we want to know if it's halt pending news is we mosey on over to the Nasdaq halt page. We look for the code. It's open. It's bleeding its own blood, holding at 244, 233 here, Joey. The current price now back up into about 2.5 CPHI. Above the volume weighted average price. Guys, I have to submit to you, there is a good buy area, a support area right around the $0.25. You have a double top from 10.25, and you have the volume weighted average price there. Here comes into 2 3/4, still south of 3. Got to remind you though, 3 is not the end all and be all. You have to get above that 320 area. That's the limit down area, the intraday limit down. 307 right now, showing up on my level 2 as limit up. We're showing 292, and there's the limit up parameter, Joseph options. It's going to halt up if it stays in this way for about 6 or 7 more seconds. 307 now, possible limit up on CPHI.
All right, man, good stuff. So we added a little bit more into this position. I told you, just slowly building. Now, I believe that as soon as we crack this is going to be our key level to say, hey, this thesis may not be valid. And I understand that we waited for it for quite some time. But if this perpetual downtrend wants to stay intact, then we're going to be in a little bit of trouble, especially if we're trying to go long. Now, I haven't been trading IBIT as much and as frequently as I was before, in my opinion, when it was in play and just continuing to move higher and higher. Now we have sellers step in and have the ability to take control, but there is a strong volume print, nothing following it up. So where's my next ad going to be? Hopefully around 71 or 70. This is where I really want to see price start to turn around in order for us to continue to build into this. So we have our initial position. It gets that pop. I'm like, okay, you run into 76s. Let's add right at VWAP. Now we want this to hold. As soon as it breaches 67, then we have to definitely take into factor this might not work how we're planning it to. And like it ain't a thing to abandon ship. Now, from a daily perspective, look where we're sitting right now. There is the potential of a breakout. And that's what I'm kind of going for and aiming for here. We've seen Coinbase putting in some strength today. I think it was at up 11% at its highs. CoinL up 20+%. Obviously, it being a 2x leverage system there. ETF 37.90. That's a key pivot level to 38.18. Now it's starting to come back in. I mean, it is what it is, and I'm not going to be like, oh man, this is why we don't trade it. Some continuation would be nice, and it took a while for us to really start to sell off here. I mean, it peaked around 10.12, and then it didn't come south of the volume weighted average price until 11.45. All right, so I do believe that we had that time. We gave it a little bit of time to sell off. Now it's just waiting to see if the levels are going to hold and if we have the ability to continuously build for this trend line to be breached, broken, and then now we can add into the position. Where's our primary target going to be?
Where?
The high of the day, Sharif, the high of the day. 38.50, I mentioned, could be a potential target, but what we need that demand. If there's too much supply, you're not going to continue to move any higher, and there's not enough demand, then guess what? You're going to AC slide to the downside here, Sharif. Maybe even sell to 37.65 and head towards this breakout level. This was strong, but nothing following up after that strong breakout out of the open.
I figured why Canada hasn't been getting a good deal. A lot of people, you know, they blame the tough stance on Canada as being one of the only two nations to retaliate against American tariffs, being Canada and China. I think it's a little bit differently. I like what Kirk D has to say in the chat. He's like, Canada didn't come bearing gifts. You got to get President Trump a plane, man.
Or some
you gotta
plane.
Come, yeah. You got to come there like the Qatari leader. You got to come in hands filled with bags, or like your friend Mertz there. He came in with a birth certificate of President Trump's like great grandfather or whatever from Germany.
Yeah. So
even Keir Starmer came in with a letter from the king, and we know how much President Trump loves the royal family.
Yeah.
We should have come bearing gifts.
Oh,
Joey.
yeah?
Yeah, we came with nothing in our hand.
Yeah, well.
That's kind of my take on that. But guys, while you think about this, let me tell you about that. DFNS limit up again, man. Up into, pardon me, 783 limit up. 11:45.56 is the halt time. Now we're not going to fly blind on this one. We're going to be able to see the top. So right now it's not really much higher. 784 is the top limit price, or sorry, the limit up. 783. So we got a couple of halters right now. We got DFNS and CPHI, both limit up. North of 3 now is CPHI. That's the limit, but I really want to draw your attention to that 720 to 725 area, because that's the intraday limit down level. So think about that. I think we were halted there for about 20 minutes, so it could be an important level there. So that's all I'm looking at the moment. I'm not liking the look of NXXT's jib. It is failing with lower highs, so I'm going to stay away from that. But I'm very interested in DFNS if it continues to go here, especially through 8. I don't know, Case, are you still involved here, or what's going on there? So let me know what you're thinking about DFNS, Case. I saw you calling out some other ones. That UTZ one, Case, that's a buyout. That's why it's kind of like straddling that $14 area. I saw you call that one out. I don't think I'm going to jump onto that, but we're going to leave that one go. For your information, FYI, AMC, says Brian, like it, day 2 play, because AMC reported earnings yesterday and it was pretty good. Here comes VWAP on AMC, but they're down 4% on the day. American Movie Classics, I know that's not what it stands for, but it's fine. 240 VWAP, closing print yesterday, 246. But not really my cup of tea, but I can see the rationale behind that. Maybe a VWAP curl, maybe even a little bit higher to go break even. Thank you, Brian, for that. Eduardo, I love this guy. Canada needs to buy more Trump coin. He didn't get to embezzle money from you guys.
Yeah. Well, no, that's not true at all.
I love to read these out,
No,
man.
That's not true at all, because my friend bought Trump coin.
I think he means the country.
Yeah.
Because anybody can buy it,
Last
right?
my friend, he's like, man, this is the next greatest thing.
Oh, man.
Following sliced bread, apparently.
Yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, okay. And there, my guy.
CPHI limit up again. Limit up again. 372. Here we go. It's going to halt at this level if we're at this, for a few more seconds. Wow, the volatility in small caps today is really, really good. Limit up. We're halted again on CPHI, $3.72. Halt time, 11:49.54. Earliest time to open, 11:54.54. Be on the lookout for that, and be on the lookout for this one. I'm sorry to keep interrupting you, Joseph, but you know how these things go.
Do your thing, man. I'm just chilling over here, building. Added another about 20% right here, nothing substantial. So you can see these average ins are higher, but we are breaking trend, and this is what I want to see. I told you we're going to aim for the high of the day, but this is where I'm going to double it up, right? So I have this order placed, and then think about where my risk is. As soon as you have a 1-minute candle south of this level right here, then it's like, okay, okay, we're out of the position. Our thesis didn't work. So we're going to plan for this to be double the size that what it's currently at right now. If it does come back into this level, then I'll build it. And if it cracks, then I mean, that's what trading is, right? You build the thesis, you wait for it. I was sitting here patiently waiting, like 50 Cent once said, for the levels to come into play. And when they do, you have to try to take those shots and try to take as much advantage of it as possible. So that's just me here sitting. I know it's a little bit of quiet one here today. Gorb, there was plenty. Gorb, I don't know if you're in the chat today, but earlier in the morning.
You got a membership?
Oh, yeah. You got my guy finally got the membership. Hey. So, Gorb, there was a lot of buying pressure in the Nasdaq in the first hour or so. And then sure enough, look at it, boom. I think this is where I took advantage of it. And then off to the races it went. But I never played the range. And I know Katina Man does that really well. He's good at playing these ranges, getting in at the lower, closer to the support systems, and then just piecing it out at the top. So that's a pretty good look there. From earlier this morning on the Nasdaq. Here comes NVDA coming back in. I thought we would have curled over a little bit sooner than what we have right now, but hey, I'm not going to complain about this recovery whatsoever. Okay. I told you guys anything south of my average price, I'm a buyer, so it's just like a couple shares here, a couple shares there, and then eventually, next thing you know, you have this position built that I'm looking to do. So other than that, same narrative with Bitcoin. Come back in, come down to 3770. If the momentum to the downside really starts to pick up, then obviously we have to reassess the situation and it's not going to do what we want it to, and that's all right. I don't have the utmost confidence in Bitcoin right now, but hey, why not see? It's been almost a year, think about it, from October of 2025, a couple more months, you've been in a steady downtrend and there hasn't been any crazy sessions where you're up 10+% in Bitcoin. I think we're going to start knocking on those doors, maybe hopefully in the next 6 to 8 months. That would be nice to see, especially for those long-term Bitcoin bulls.
Yeah, it's actually a good call, man. I woke up this morning, turned on CNBS. I just saw the coin knocking on the door 67 and change, I believe it was, or something like that.
I mean, hey, man, some people believe.
I'm not going to argue with that.
Some people believe that this thing may never see 120,000 again. And I mean, hey.
I'm not one of
them. Anything can happen, right? Like it may not. What if
How many
times
do you think people have said that, Joey? From 18, from 60?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know. I'm just asking. I'm not implying.
No, I thought the narrative would be different this time around. I thought that we would, because you had Tom Lee and Saylor and half of CNBC saying $250,000 by the end of the year, and it was inverse that. So
it was.
it was like, all right, well that didn't work out now. Did it? And same thing. Tom Lee had listen, I don't know if like this is the case, but some handcuffs should be slapped on this guy for saying $15,000 potential high for Ethereum, and then it loses 75% of its value. Like, bro, you get, like, that's insane.
I get, I get that. I just don't want the chilling effect that comes with, having like a penalty on speech.
No, I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah.
But that's an absurd.
But you're right.
But that's an absurd call.
People, dumbasses like myself, who got lured in to BMNR and who are substantially out of the money.
But I wouldn't necessarily.
I get why you want to protect.
Dude,
those
I wouldn't.
people,
I wouldn't. No, it's not even about that, man. It's like, it was convincing. Like if you go down the list of like what Ethereum had going for it at the time, the Clarity Act, the Stable Act, just the whole blockchain talk, and just like, hey, we're moving everything to a digital asset. The financial sector is going to be moving onto the blockchain as well. Then it made sense, right? But it just didn't pan out that way. No. And I'm being sarcastic when I'm saying someone should slap handcuffs on them.
But metaphorically, I get what you're saying.
Exactly.
What you're saying.
It's because you do have those individuals who are like, hey, yeah, we go on this nice little run up to 5K plus, and then it's like, all right, your money's evaporated in the span of the next couple of months, and it didn't even get to a third of what you were saying.
No, but I also want to remind everybody what the Commonwealth of Massachusetts did in the 1980s. They prevented their residents or citizens or whatever, the terminology is legally, from buying Apple. I just don't want the government telling me what I can and can't buy. I don't need the regulator to babysit me. That's kind of my view there. But anyway, we did well here on DFNS. We went long 8 and change. And Ozan, this out was only for you. Well, maybe and some others. 869 out here, Ozan, on DFNS. We are a couple of shekels off the high of the day because it got to 879. So I'm definitely looking at that. And while I look at this, you can know about this. 448 limit up on CPHI. It's coming pretty close here to the high of the day. And there it goes, Joseph. 471 now limit up on CPHI. That is a new high of day. 403%, 406%. We're looking for 71 limit up. We're showing 69 seller here. So let's see if this one wants to make it into 5, right? You get that close into 5. My bias is right away. We're going 2.5, maybe even a bit more. CPHI is all sorts of crazy on the day. Still showing 71 limit up. That's changed. It is now 95 limit up. So 495 limit up as we breach that 471 area as a high a day. So keep your eye out on that. There's lots going, man. I'm getting tired already. yeah. CPHI is ripping.
That's a good issue.
It's a good issue to have, especially with small caps being a little bit crappy lately, Joey. Today, definitely not that way. Limit up initiated here on CPHI, zigging and zagging. It's into 95. It's dropping. There it is again. Now it is 514 limit up. Wow, what a rocket ship CPHI is. Here comes 515. We're in the halt parameter. We need to stay this way for 10 more seconds. CPHI has been an absolute rocket ship. Zagging and zagging, though. Get it, Tisha. I love it. CPHI, like that ZYBT yesterday. Beautiful. You are absolutely right, Tish. I hope you're printing on this. Eric, I thought you got out at 4. I did, Eric. There's nothing out in the position there. Look at the position board. And there's my out right there, brother. There's a triangle, so I'm not in, but I got to call it out for you guys. You guy 33, how did we dumbasses get caught up in rare earth? I don't know, bro. I mean, the rare earth trade is supposed to be, that secular multi-year run. Everybody needs it. AI this, military that. Everything is going to run around rare earths now with the Chinese basically controlling most of the refining and the extraction. You figured the Americans would want to throw their hat into that ring and champion one of their companies. And I hitched my wagon to MP. And that hasn't been a good investment so far. So that's the way it is. But I feel, that this is sort of a longer term play. I just don't see rare earths, minerals, magnets falling out of favor anytime soon. But, while I wait, I'm going to be out of the money. So that's my problem, I guess. But that's all I've got to say about that. And rare earth is not that rare. Fun fact, haha, Case. I know. I hear a lot about that. It's just, it's so dispersed, right, Case? Like my understanding was like you could have zinc, cobalt, but in very, very low concentrations. So you have to extract all this earth just to get, a kilogram or whatever of whatever rare earth you're looking for. So it costs a lot of money. Obviously, there are areas where the mineral deposits are more concentrated, and I think that's what we're talking about here with MP because they have that site. I forget the name of it. But yeah, so that's, I see what you're saying there. Lace says Case. Oh, I like that. You see that? Lace says Case. By the way, before I look at LASC, I want to point out ASPI, Commodity King, called this one out. ASPI is the ticker. A bit of a slow mover here relative to how everything else is moving, but one to look at. It's at the high of the day. Sorry, what was that? ASPI right there. Let's look at LASC. Yeah, there. It's ripping here. Is this going to halt or what? Because it just took VWAP. So this is LASE, was trading below the volume weighted average price for the majority of the morning, had a good pre-market, but it's recovering from VWAP now, 129 high. Let's see how this trades. I'm going to keep my eye out on it. We'll see exactly. Hey, can you review SWMR, Nick? I'll absolutely do it as soon as we get back from CN happening now. Don Baca, Joe, Sharif, did you place your $15 bids in SDOT as I suggested on that last pop? SDOT will go lower. I like my man Don Baca there. It's a lot of confidence. Man. Luis Barbado in the chat. Call a day, guys. Calling it a day, guys. Have a nice evening. Take care.
Later.
Luis, hope you have a fantastic evening. I know it is, of course, evening in Barcelona now. And then just before we go see Kakita, what do you think of ARRNF, American Rare Earths Limited? You know what? I'm going to add that to the side chart over here. And when we get back from Sia, ARRNF is the ticker. I will have an analysis for you on that. Just technically, of course, because I can't give you a fundamental look on the company. But let's send it up to Sia for happening now and Neil's lesson of the day.
Thank you so much. The SPY is currently up 0.74% on the day. The triple Q's up a little over 1.5%. You have the Dow that's also up 0.72%, with the IWM also up by 1%. Safe to say all the major averages in the green on the day today. So what we're going to talk about right now is going to take a look at SpaceX. That's above 7%, snapping a 7-session losing streak after analysts at Macquarie have reinstated their outperform rating and also have urged investors to buy the dip and the recent weakness, apparently. The stock has climbed around $128.12 to be precise, although it remains below its $135 IPO price, where shares did plunge. It was a post-listing pullback. Macquarie has also said that the recent decline presents a buying opportunity, arguing that investors continue to underestimate the company's long-term AI potential alongside its core space business. Finally, they have also written in a note to their clients that we see a significant upside from AI optionality. Achieving only a fraction of terminal compute ambitions could justify valuation above these current levels. Keep an eye out. SpaceX is soaring. It's very close to being up 7% on the day. But before we go back to trading and the show, let's stop and ask Neil what his lesson of the day is.
Thank you, Sia. Accumulation. Sometimes it's a little bit obvious, and other times it is over the top. Even the most, I would say, what's the word I want to use? Inexperienced trader can find where a key price level for a break could be happening. Now, I'll give you a couple of examples here, but this one stood out in Tesla, and it made it almost too important to not look at. So this is a couple of sessions ago here in Tesla. See the accumulation on higher low support that you can find at about 379. It breaks it a few times, but you can find buyers in there, and eventually the breakout gives you that clean continuation. Great. But one of the reasons why I started the lesson today was, hey, the market's showing you something every single day, which can be unique and something you can pick up from and can be an opportunity. So oftentimes it'll be a stock that maybe we missed something or didn't trade it perfectly or did, and here's the reason why, or just flat out a pattern that's worth observing. Because this was happening on Tesla right before the open. And if you can't see what this is that I'm referring to, at $371 exactly, from 839 to right before the open at about 921. Just absolutely sideways action accumulation at 371. Now, there's some shenanigans right before the open. Remember, on a Nasdaq stock at 925, the imbalances are going to come in. So you could have a small sell imbalance that pairs off that can give you this crazy action. But you got to remember, it's 371 that matters. Right before 930, this closes right back here just above the 371, and then liquidity grab at the open, hold 371 and go. Now, am I expecting, you're just punching long when it rejects the low? Maybe you're that fast. I figure algos are probably going to eat that one up. But it's to consider the continuation, right? Like the stock was down the entire day yesterday. So when you look at the other aspect of this, like that whole $15 move down, holds the low. The other aspect of that accumulation at the bottom and the false break of the low is that it didn't break yesterday's low. So you're twofold here. You're holding yesterday's low. You're regaining that accumulation price, which sets you up for what I like to call an over-under trade. If you don't break the low, there's only one place to go. If you got accumulation at 371 in here and it false breaks the low several times to regain it, all of a sudden you've got a trend. And the trend is your friend off the volume-weighted average price. This is, to me, where it makes a little more sense to try to get involved. It's pulling back into prior resistance and getting into VWAP, or simply breaking out the opening range here. It's not about being perfect at the bottom. It's that it's showing you, hey, some signs of strength, some signs of buying off the most obvious accumulation you'll ever see. Now, if we're being real, if you didn't have Tesla on the radar to have watched that for 40, 50 minutes as it was happening, then maybe you're not looking at this at 9:30, which you need to be if you're going to make that trade. So this is more along the lines, if you are ever watching a stock where you see that level of accumulation in front of a support level, it could be already an upward trend where it's just more of a simple breakout. It could be just looking for it to fill some of this gap. But from a technical standpoint, it is wild how good Tesla ended up being. Holding the prior low, showing accumulation. Once it broke, gives you the dip in the VWAP to then retake this resistance level for breakouts. Everything was so technically perfect with Tesla. So it was an obvious missed opportunity, but the real hint is you do not see 40 minutes of barcoding on a volatile stock like that. And it's telling you where the key price is going to be. If it broke the prior low, I'd be telling you the same things and favoring the short trade. But that's not what happened. And it set up a great looking trend. One last thing before I get you guys out of here. I got to acknowledge, as Sharif was talking about, here's the second part of the lesson of the day. Everyone in the chat asked Sharif how he got as a plan to trail out at $4 on CPHI. From the breakout of the high to the perfect technical wick for the last trail out. So that would be my question, because that ends up being almost dead on. And the best thing about that trade is, it's going from normal trading to halt fest. You're getting involved in the halt, and then once the halts tell you to get out without having to stop out there, you're able to eke out of the trade. I know it's halted to the upside now, but I saw that topping tail wick through $4, and I was like, that's unbelievable to have got that price. I know it's higher now, but that's still a perfect exit point. So be careful when you're trading these. It's about to go into an up halt as we speak. Give it about 14 seconds from here. CPHI, once again, halting up. Great exit there, Sharif. But remember, accumulation in the pre-market, man, sometimes they'll just flat out show you the level, false halt. Didn't get to 15 seconds there on CPHI. But wild trading action. Hope somebody got that Tesla. I wish I had noticed it, but that's why it's a lesson of the day. So we can learn and get better. The jerk chicken was delicious. I'm going to go eat my salad, and we'll send you guys back to the midday.
All right, we just, Assassino. Look at that, Assassino.
Look at it.
We get it before 6. Rips up into the high of the day, 6:55. We're out. But
You looking at Assassino?
can't ask Assassino.
Sorry.
Two more. Yeah, there you go. Shout out to my man. All right, let's do this. Guys, VinFast continues to expand beyond vehicle sales this week. VinFast India partnered with Shriram Finance to support EV financing access, while Green SM, they launched an all-electric ride-hailing service in Kazakhstan, and they're using VinFast VF6 vehicles. Together, these moves highlight VinFast's broader mobility ecosystem strategy, and you can find them trading on the Nasdaq under ticker VFS. Hey, there goes CPHI. Joseph, we're up a light and not so big. And don't turn and look your head now. We're up 619%.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna get me to guess.
deal.
I thought you were gonna get me to guess that one.
Nah, do that too.
Okay. Oh, look at. Why is CN your favorite station right there? CNBS saying Thursday. Alphabet reporting Thursday.
Yeah.
When I've now checked multiple sources stating that it reports tomorrow evening.
Oh, that's a statement.
Oh.
Are you challenging CNBS?
Well, I mean, hey, man.
Glitch.
Yeah, glitch.
Glitch. KS Venture.
We all make mistakes. What's up?
What's going on with IBM?
What is going on with it?
So we talked about some of the damage done to IBM, whether you're talking about the software Mageddon, the SaaS Mageddon, or just, their projected earnings that came in, a little bit light. And we all saw what happened that day. Was it last week or the week before, something like that?
Yeah.
With IBM. So it's been a tough time at the moment for International Business Machine. Let's have should we do a little TA?
Yeah, pull it up, man.
Pull up.
I'm gonna catch another fill while you're pulling that up here, so you can see we're just building again, it's just going to be really tight risk. So we added a little bit more there, nothing substantial. Oh, did it buy? Okay, that bought a lot more than what I was expecting, 4 times. So if this doesn't hold up, then this Bitcoin thesis could be invalid, guys. And now we're just fully built into the position that we wanted to. So started there a quarter, added a little bit more. Now you're at half, added a little bit more, 75%. Now full position right here with the risk of around 37.66. So 8 cents or so, not giving ourselves too much room. But if this gets going, then we're ready to rock and roll. My average has been somewhat flat, like 37.72. We'll take that for what it is. Now let's rock and roll. Let's get this VWAP bounce. Nice engulfing print. Now, I mean, we got double the amount in which we started with. And this is exactly what I was talking about, being patient, allowing this to formulate and the price action come to us and not chase it. Posted up multiple occasions. Now let's see. I'll double check my position just to make sure we got it. Oh, okay, all right. We can always get a little bit more in, Sharif.
Okay.
Maybe another 33% right there. But we're not going to complain about with what we have right now as we're slowly, guys. Patience is sometimes really important, but we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here just in case it doesn't work out.
See Ferran Torres in the what's it called? The parade?
Yeah.
Championship parade. See the hat he's wearing?
Yeah.
Make Spain great again.
Bam.
Oh,
Well,
no.
you can
Ferran
start.
Torres.
You can start with a World Cup there.
Well, yeah, they're champions of the world. Okay, here's IBM. Yeah, this is the weekly on IBM. And the reason I pulled up the weekly is I wanted to bring your attention to, yes, sadly, the 2012, 2013 area highs. Okay? So this is kind of, it took us a decade longer to reach these levels again, right? We failed this level in 2013, right around, I want to say 200 to 220 bucks. We're right there. We're showing on the day a low of 209, a high of 214. So this is the weekly on International Business Machine. So I wanted to say that this 200 to 225 area could be important, mostly as well, not just because it was an area of resistance back in the early 2010s, but also it's the 200 exponential on the weekly. And it's already found support there a couple of times. Now, technically it is below it, but who recalls the 3-period rule, right? The 3-period rule posits that whatever time frame you're charting on, the daily, the weekly, the 5-minute, if it closes below that level for 3 periods, meaning in this case 3 different candles, all close below the 200, it's not theoretically lost. All right, I have to digress here. CPHI is ripping up. It's going to halt up. Oh my God, 810 limit up. Guys, this is all gas. Here we go, man. Higher day, Assassino, $8 on the dot. Here it comes again, 810 on the dot. 810 is limit up, and we are caught at least momentarily in a halt perimeter. Down goes again into $0.75. This could be a buy area. This is too aggressive for my blood here. Now, we were talking about this one seeing 5 because the bias was, you get close to 5. Well, now I'm thinking 10, and that is going to get a lot closer to being a reality now because 920 is limit up. So here comes 9. The high of the day is 899 on the dot, 875. What a move up here. Wow, it's going to limit up, man. Right into 920 we go. 920 is the high of the day. It doesn't quite stay there, so it's not going to halt. But, guys, trade this carefully. At some point it's going to come down.
Oh, it just did. It just dropped $3 and a halt down.
Can you believe that? That's what I mean, right?
Yeah,
a big money account comes in, wipes everybody out, takes absolutely all the levels out, and down goes CPHI into a down halt. Oh, my days.
Oh, my days, man.
Yeah, so we're going to have to keep saying this, Joseph, right?
Yeah.
They're around for a good time. They're not around for a long time.
They're definitely not around for a long time. That was pretty crazy right there. I mean, I was like, oh, okay, $9 break, looking like you're going to head over into $10. And then it was just like Wash City filling up this gap, man. And what we got going on here, so as more and more data starts to print on the 5-minute time frame, I don't know, man. I don't know if this thesis that I've established and waited for is going to pan out. We might get a little bit of a move here.
Please, napkins, thank you. I'm always deficient in the napkin game.
That's all right, man. You need any more? I got you covered.
I'm good.
Yeah, so there it goes, taking an additional move lower. And now we have this shelf right at the volume-weighted average price. This isn't looking too good. Once again, it's like, okay, we can overthink the situation or we just stick to the game plan, which obviously we're going to do. And if it breaks 65, then guess what? We're out. It's that simple. Our thesis is to hold this low, to hold this pivot low, and to go and retest the high of the day. Now, even if it fails to establish a new high of the day and we get a lower high, then by all means, I'm going to be satisfied and happy with this trade. And if it doesn't, well, guess what? I still have plenty of rounds left in the magazine in order for us to take some more opportunities. And then that's what I'm going to do. We've been sitting in this trade since when? Just consistently building 11:37. So 45 minutes or so, close to 45 minutes. And it's not doing what I want. Hey, it's Bitcoin. What else do we really expect? I believe I'm just trying to push for something that may not be there. And what we've seen over the past couple of days is like, yeah, we had some half-decent sessions. Were they the strongest? And then I think it's our job to do a little due diligence. We talked about 38.50 being a potential level. But if you don't want to break downtrend and then continue, then it's like, okay, good luck with 38.50 and this shelf and this support level not doing what we were planning. But what did we have on yesterday's session? Nice, strong day, if you ask me. Now, are we going to get any follow-up? This is Monday. Bang, nice move, ABCD pattern over here, and then off to the races it goes. What happened on Friday? Double top up here, but there were some signs of strength. Now, we want this to step it again on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon.
KC 526 astutely pointing out, as well as some others, man, telling me to look at OMH. Shout out to Grunfeld as well. OMH ripping up here. It's up about 116%, sub $1 name, trading at around 55 pennies. High day 60 pennies and 3/4. There's some resistance here at 55. Continuing to watch. I like this range here between 45 to 50. That's where it was bull flagging, even as briefly as it was a bull flag. So let's give this a try here. I want to see if it, first of all, if it fails 50. That's first and foremost. And if it doesn't make its way into the mid 40s. Currently, it's being defended here by a 50-ish buyer. 52, 51. I don't think it's quite made its way down into 50. Maybe it did. Briefly, it did. So OMH should be in view here for the small cap gapper inclined. Now that DFNS is turned the wrong way. CPHI has a monster topping tail candle. And there's some others. GREE I want to talk about there. But I want to keep my eye here on OMH because there does seem to be a buyer in and around that $0.50 area. Flipping to the 5-second chart, we're in an unbroken downtrend right now on the 5-second chart, all lower highs with that same kind of 50-ish buyer who keeps showing up. So let's keep an eye out on this one. I have to put it on the side chart, otherwise it won't update. All right, there we go. Now we're breaking through that area high. Let's give this one a try here, man. Let's see if we can kind of mosey on up, take out some levels, just watching for an entry. No, into 53 we go. So if we start putting in higher lows, I can get behind that. Now that we've broken, oh, wow, here comes 50 again. Yeah, there's a buyer at 50, Joey. There's a buyer here at 50. Yeah, it's a repeat offender buyer because that same buyer was buying at 12:16.05. Sorry, I'm going to have to put it into seconds here because I'm looking at the 5-second chart. But we're right back into 50. Do we fail? Right now, all the bids have been above 50. I haven't seen anything dip below. Right now, 50 1/3, 50 1/2. Let's see. Yeah, the $0.25 now coming in. I don't know, Case. Let's see what this one does. I don't want to bottom pick here because I really haven't watched it for long enough to know, whether that VWAP area, because that's where we are, right around VWAP. So 50 and VWAP are the same level. It's failing. Yeah, into 47. Yep, not liking the look of this one's jib, at least for the moment. So I'll stay away from that. But OMH, bleeding its own blood to the downside, 46. We'll keep an eye on that. Oh, no, Joey, limit down again. CPHI, 520, limit down. Watching. Funny enough, this is still above the 10 EMA on the 5. Just saying, not endorsement to buy. But it's above $5, and it's above the 10 EMA. And it's also above that halt up level that we were in at, I believe, 1155. So we'll see what CPHI has to offer. But I promise you I talked about GREE. This is a little bit less bamboozling And I happen to like the uptrend on GRE here. And I also happen to like the flat top break that's brewing at $3. So it's a 303 high, I get that. So I'm not trying to make the case it hasn't been above 3. What I'm trying to say is it's an ascending wedge pattern. Got the higher lows and the flat top resistance at 3. Possibly. You get that big money buyer that takes this one up through 3 and maybe gaps a little bit. So I think I'm going to start a position here on GRE. Just keeping a cool eye on OMH. GRE, G-R-E. Let's see what we got here, Joey. What's that? The spread is 2 pennies, which is reasonable. Right? So if at worst, where am I going to give this? Well, the area low is the 1120 candle on the 5. And the low there is 277. We're showing 295s. Can I get at least a 1-to-1 on this, right? That's my question. So if we get a flat top break through 3, can I at least get 20-ish pennies? Because that's what I'm going to have to risk right now. Yeah, I think we could probably mosey on up to the $0.25. We're going to give this a try, man. We're going to give this a try. You know, the small cap's been biting today. Doesn't mean they're going to continue to bite. So we got 95s, obviously, because we use the hotkey. And we're going to give it to 75. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to open up the spread a little bit, lest this one, you know, kind of lose the bid. So that is in focus now. And I just want to say one thing. I'm not tooting my own horn here, but I kind of refused at all to entertain any of the comments on VIVK. And I think that I was right to do so. Because some of the comments were, why aren't you looking at VIVK? How come you're not taking VIVK long? I don't like the look of it. Okay. And down goes VIVK into the day low of 456. It was trading at 7 and a quarter. And I was telling Bovin messaged me on the gram. And I told Bovin, I'm like, Bovin, I'm not touching this until it takes out 8. And it did the opposite. Got down to 450. So VIVK, I'm going to steer clear of that one. It's a no good. Here comes GRE. We're going to wet the beak here at 3. Let's see if we can take out that print. Good. The spread tightens up to a penny. Here comes again. We're going to go 304s on this, 305. We're going to post at 305 on GRE here. So let's see if we can get a bigger move up. Chain reaction, sorry. Just let me maximize so I can see your name. Chain reactor, F3C, 499 super chat. Thank you, brother. Why does it feel like Rocket Lab is continuing to go down the toilet? What a loss. You want to cover RKLB?
Yeah, for sure. Here we go, guys. We're just holding on by a thread. If it breaks this support level, I'll give it 2 attempts. That's it. Tolerance very low with Bitcoin. Just because I'm not in love with the space right now doesn't mean I won't be in the future. Just right now, I think it's just not doing what I want it to do. You can see that we're rejecting the volume weighted average price. I would expect it to hold a little bit better than what it was, but now we're just in that consistent downtrend, and I have to take it for what it is. As frustrating as it is, I made the decision, right? So I'll go over to something else, especially if this one doesn't work out. I know that we're building it, but I have no issue with just punching in full size if it does display the second opportunity for us to go potentially long. But right now, things aren't looking too great. And I think my probability minute by minute is dwindling because you can see with every uptick, it's just immediately met by defense. So I'll keep my eyes on this. I'll pull up RKLB for you. Now, as for Rocket Lab, let's hold on. Let me grab the right actual screen here. RKLB. JP. Oh, let's go. JP Morgan. Is that all-time high? Oh, no, not quite. But JP Morgan putting in a move there for us. So we like that one, 110%. RKLB. What was it? Can we pull up the suit? Why does it feel like Rocket Lab is continuing to go down the toilet? What a loss. Why does it feel like it? I mean,
show
because
the NASA.
Yeah. I mean,
you have the head and shoulders on that. That you and I were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So 60% haircut right there on RKLB. Now listen, it's funny, Sharif. I seen one of those articles this morning.
Yeah.
If you hold on here, let me finish talking for it. No, that's all right. It's all right. I seen one of those articles this morning, you know, the ones where it's like if you invested $10,000 in Micron.
I love those. It makes me feel good about my investing.
So the one this morning that I seen, if you invested $10,000 in Micron in 1987, you would now have $8 million.
That's it?
So 50 years of holding You now got 8 schmillion. Who publishes these things?
I don't know.
Is my question. So is that my game plan? 50 years from now, if I put 10,000 bucks into SpaceX today, do I have 8 sheets? I hope so. But will I even be functionable 50 years from now?
I like the
Probably
terminology.
not.
You're
Probably
8
not.
sheets.
Yeah, man. Yeah, let's send things off to Sia. We got it happening now.
Boom.
Sorry about that, Joe. That was a weird cut in. You have the IWM that's up 1% at the moment. Let's take a look at 3 individual tickers picked out for you right now. You have SES that's up 9.5% on the day. So the company has announced that it will release its 2026 second quarter financial results after the market, that is after the bell rings, closes on Tuesday, that is August 11th of this year. Wolf, WOLF, that's up 7% on the day. Analyst commentary here, thank you, Sharif, maintained at neutral by Susquehanna. That's what's going on here. You have finally PLTK, that's up 12% on the day. It'll be releasing its financial results for the second quarter of 2026 before the bell, that's before the markets open on, again, Tuesday of August 6th in this year of 2026. So you have SES up 9.5%, you have Wolf up 7% on the day, and finally you have PLTK up over 12% on the day.
Thank you very much for that, Sia. Thank you to Chain Reactor again, $4.99. When you bought Rocket Lab above $89, it's a total loss. For now, brother, for now. I'm not saying it's going to go back up. I would never make such a pronouncement like that. I don't know what the hell these stocks are going to do. But look, you know, the trends in the market are, you know, this is the kind of part and parcel of being involved in the market, right? When things catch a wave, they really catch a wave, and when they come down, they really come down. But if you are strong in your convictions that this company does have a runway, then stick with it. If it's not, if it was a technical trade and the technicals have broke down, it's incumbent upon you to get the hell out, okay? Because DCAing into a stock that you don't have convictions on, that you were in because of a technical reason, is just a recipe to get clipped. So I hope I made that pretty clear. Mopar for life, $1.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Mopar. SpaceX is holding RKLB hostage right now. Oh, well, why are all the Elon names super beta? Like super, they have crazy beta. Tesla's got beta, man. SpaceX has beta. It's just like they always have the aren't they more volatile than the Mag 7? Would you not agree?
Yeah,
that
because they're based off of forward looks, I think.
Fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough, right? Yeah, fair enough.
It's like
a lot of
okay,
things are, but maybe this one a little bit more. Right?
But I mean, think about it. I mean, we know that like Tesla has been, from a delivery from a car manufacturer standpoint, has been a declining business, but yet it remains
right
at the price that it currently is right now because everybody believes that Optimus and autonomy AEVs are going to be that thing. I think it's the same thing with.
I don't think. I don't think that's wrong. Yeah, but SpaceX today on the day up 6%, 127.25 right now. Tesla below 400, as it's been for a minute, up 3% as well. But those are the two best performing. I don't know. Are we including SpaceX now in the Meg? I just put it with big tech. So Tesla's up nicely. SpaceX up nicely. Apple is up barely. Meta is up barely. And NVIDIA, I would say the best well, after Tesla, of course, the best performing name on the day, up almost 1%. But since the bell rang, NVIDIA's down. So something to think about there. Now, let's talk about my latest trade. We're in GREE. We got in at 95s. We've wet the beak all the way up to 03. That is the 304 is the high of the day. But I still, you know, of the view that we haven't decisively taken out 3, not by a long shot. So I'm going to continue to build the position into a higher low, into higher lows. Now, currently, the area low, the way I see it, is the 1205 bar on the 5, the low of which is 288. Prior to that, it was the 1120 bar on the 5, the low of which was 277. So right now, I'm looking to move up my stop to the 1205 bar low, which is, again, 288. So keep your eye on that. There goes CPHI. It's going to halt up. 576 limit up on CPHI. We need another 6 or 7 seconds at this level. So CPHI, man, It's trying to make a move back up, but I stay away from this unless it gets back above 7. Limit up, 576 limit up, hold time 1229.57. So thank you to Chain Reactor. Shout out to Mopar as well for shedding light there. Zion, think KIDZ, can spike up. Good news, plus holding that 60s area right now below VWAP. Let's look at kids. I haven't said anything about KIDZ because
for this trade.
Yeah, I don't like this at all, Zion. Like, I gotta tell you, brother. You know, like, let me just, is it updating here? Later, Slater.
Okay, let me
just finish kids, man. I just started this analysis here. 64. So 67 pennies, pardon me. No, Zion. I would say stay away from this. This is a flat top break waiting, flat bottom break, excuse me. I have an animation for that. Waiting to happen. Zion, the way I see this, area high into 82. Another area high into 72. All the while, you're holding that 65 penny area as support. This feels the exact opposite of BRE, where it's lower high, flat bottom, descending wedge pattern. I'd say stay away from it, brother, but, you know, up to you. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, we're out of this one, and I told you the patience wearing extremely thin with Bitcoin. So yeah, it decides we get out at this wick, and then I just believe that it's going to continue to move to the south side. I was thinking about looking for a move back in towards the volume-weighted average price here with the Qs, but it's just too tough because of the memory names. And full disclosure, like I don't even care. I only had 200 shares on this here, and it's just we take that couple of penny stop out, and it's just like, all right, we're not going to try to continuously force something to climb a little bit higher. And I'm sitting here like, what am I doing? Trying to go Bitcoin long for some form of continuation when it wasn't displaying itself. Now, I think it would have been easier to tell. This is where you want to find the bounce, 37.71. As soon as it broke VWAP and then cracked lower, then it was just like, all right, yeah, the probability, not saying that it wouldn't have worked, but the probability really started to shrink. So now we have that curl over that I was looking at here on NVDA starting to happen. I thought it was going to happen a little bit sooner over here at 205.61, but it punches through VWAP to 206.80s, and then now look at the momentum and the strength really start to pick up and accelerate to the south side. Grind, trend line breached, see you later to the downside, and I wouldn't be surprised. We can look for some form of a lower a higher low right here on the 5-minute, but we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 minutes of consecutive selling and straight selling, and it hasn't even moved the triple Qs. That's how much more of an influence these memory storage names have on the Nasdaq, and that's why I'm just thinking in my head, it's a little bit more difficult. The reversion or the retracement play, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because you have what? Micron up 13%, SanDisk up 13%, Western Digital up 13%, Seagate up 12%, DRAM up 12%, SK Hynix up 10%, and then you have Nebius, even though it's not that heavily weighted, but as a collective unit, when you're this strong, you're going to see the short struggle a little bit more. And I mean, think about it. You're up about 0.8%, but this has been no banger of a day in NVDA, if you ask me, right? Like, okay, we'll take the positivity without any question, but when you have Apple up 0.6, nice session, but again, nothing to write home about. Negative Nancy over here on Google, down 0.6%. The stronger name definitely was SpaceX. Jose telling me about his trade earlier today. Bang. So right now, I'm just in a cooling period. AMD also up 6%, but I think this has been a significantly more difficult trade. Once we hit $1,000, I wouldn't be surprised if Lisa Su and company are talking about a split. Here goes this name IBIT right back up towards this. So we were bottom wick, absorbs the liquidity, and then continuing to climb. But if the signals, I said I'll give two opportunities. I won't build, right? Just so I'm like, hey, man, I'm not working in this for so long. It's just straight to the chase, straight to the punch. We're going in full size. And if we get stopped out at the level that we're looking at, then by all means, it is what it is.
I tried my hand here at OMH, did well initially, had to stop out, break even for the rest. It had to hold 50 pennies for me. Maybe I'm being a little bit too conservative here, but I saw OMH lure everybody into 60 3/4 and then drop to 40. So I had to manage risk. Here it comes back into 52, but let me tell you something. This one takes out 61 pennies. Your boy's going long into 3/4, but it's going to have to take out that high of the day first. And here it comes into 54. Again, best print I have on this one is 56. We couldn't do any better than that. We had 52, and then we stopped out. Still holding GREE as it continues to hang out at $3. 3 on the ask, 99 on the bid. I've got 95s. I'm not in it for this. I'm in it for the flat top break through 3. And right now, we're not getting that, even though, you know, we are putting in higher highs and higher lows. I don't know how I feel about this one, but it is what it is. So we're gonna hang out here on GRE. I like the pattern, man. It's an ascending wedge pattern. It's got a clear seller at 3. If a big money buyer comes in, they could squeeze this one up to the $0.25 at least momentarily before maybe the algos react, as they'll probably be caught offside a little bit. But we'll see how GRE treats me here. But right now, it's a little bit undecided. So we'll keep tabs on that. Just looking at some of the comments. TT Mass talking about Mara. Mara's been making moves. I was TT Mouse. I was actually going to put Mara yesterday on the side chart. I think it did, and then I took it off. Having a great day. In fact, good call out, TT Mass. Into the high of day it goes. 271. It's on its horse here and could see 13. And it's been a very respectful name of trend all day. Nary a breach on a closing print, of course, of the 10 EMA on the 5. You get a couple of wicks here and there. But if you were astute enough to put your stop below the 20, you have not been stopped out, I believe, since the break right there at 9:45 on MARA. So Mara, you know, we've been talking a lot about these mining names, formerly mining names, really throwing their hat into the data center ring, Joey, kind of trying to ride with the trend, make use of their assets there they spent an arm and a leg on during the crypto hype, of course, to buy those GPUs and mine and do all that good stuff there. But right now, I'll keep Mara on the side chart, but good call out, TT Mass. Sober as well, moving up, being called out by Nick Dubb, SOBR. Okay. Yes, light volume though on this one, Nick. I got to point out the fact that it's done less than a million shares on the day, and it's a 66 penny name, 826,000 and climbing though, but it is at the high of the day of 66.10, so good call out there, Nick. Trade carefully though. Candle Stacks, love the name Candle Stacks. We're gonna go to see it in 1 second, Assassino. We're just gonna look quickly at GRML. How is this one looking? Not bad, you know, 24 penny name. 24.50 high, respectful of trend. It looked like there was a flat top brewing here right around 23 pennies. Multiple rejections there, but then it rips up, takes out that level. Look for a defend of 23 here on the ticker GRML. All right. Oh boy. All right, GRML is the ticker. Trade that one carefully. It's a cheap name. We're gonna send you up to see you.
The SPA is currently inching closer to being up to 1% on the day. Let's take a look at the sectors and what's going on with the market. Right now, you have electric tech right off the bat, super strong on the day. Looking good. NVIDIA is up. Apple's up as well, followed by AVGO, up 2%. All chip names, MU, AMD, INTC, Dell, SNDK, all up on the day, soaring high, looking pretty good over here. STX up 11%, SNDK up 12.5%. Dell up 6.5%, MU up 12.5%, looking pretty good. Moving on to tech services, you have Google and Microsoft lagging down a little bit over here today. We have news on Google as well. We had that Gemini model news that came up today that we're going to also dive a bit deeper into in the news segment, so please don't go anywhere. Oracle is showing strength today, up 3% on the day. Meta is flat. Palantir, Netflix, PAW, IBM, all sliding towards the downside. You have finance, BRKB trading flat at the moment. You have JPM that's up, inching closer to the 2% mark. Visa and MasterCard continue to be lagging a little bit today, with MSGS up over 2.5% on the day each. WFC is up closer to 2%, with BAC up 1.5%, and Citi up 3.4%. You have retail trade, Amazon and Walmart continuing to slide further down more than 1%. Costco is down 0.79% today. Home Depot trading flat, and TJX down 0.7%. Producer manufacturing looking like the bull of the day. You have AMAT up 8.5%, well over 8.5%. CAT up 3.4%, LRCX up 5%, GEV up 1.2%. Also, rest of the names in the sector, including LITE, that is leading the sector up over 8.9%. That's very close to 9% on the day. You have consumer durables, Tesla up 3%. And in the sector, you also have GM, which we will have news about in the news segment. Don't go anywhere. Again, I keep reminding you, up 4.9%. HAS up 7%, 7.6% on the day. You have other industries like we do cover utilities, process industries, transportation, as well as communications today. Bit of a mixed sentiment throughout the sector, a bit scattered. Seems like there's a lot of red, a lot of green, but definitely a lot of gray. That's telling us there's a lot of flatness between these sectors as well. However, let's just take a look at utilities. Names like CEG up 3% on the day, VST up to over 2.5% on the day. Moving on to transportation, you have UPS that's up 2.5%, FedEx up over 2.5%, Uber continuing to slide a little bit over here, down closer to 1% on the day. UAL is up, inching closer to 8%. Consumer non-durables, you have a vast majority of this sector that is sliding a little bit into the red today. KO trading flat, however. RL and SJM, however, trading up 1% and a little over 8%. Health services, finally, with UNH, that's up 2.8%. ELV up 2%. CI 1%. HCA flat at the moment. LH and DHX are the two names lagging a little bit over here. Finally, you have energy minerals, XOM, up 1.7% on the day. CVX is flat, whereas other names in the sector also following the lead of XOM here. VLO, however, down 0.62%. This is not a sector you really want to see strong. But that's all for your sector watch. Right back to trading.
Yeah, Paul Mulliner, I just wanted to answer your question because if you've got it, I'm sure a lot of other people have it. He's like, anybody really know when CPHI is going to open? And we never know when it comes to a volatility halt. We never really know in any halt. We can make educated guesses, though, when it is a volatility halt because the volatility halts come in waves of 5 minutes. So my answer to you in the chat, Paul, was look at the halt time, and we can do that together here. The halt time on CPHI is 12:29:57. So just add 5 minutes in blocks of 5 onto that, and that will be the earliest opening time. So currently, so if it halted, say at 30, the first opening opportunity here would be 12:44:57. So that would be the earliest. Currently 12:42 at the moment. So make sure you are around every 5-minute blocks from the halt time. Again, halt time 12:29:57. I hope that helps, Paul. But give me the opportunity as well to tell you that this is an MX stock. You'll always know what exchange on my screen. When you look at the top of the chart there, it says .am by way of comparison. NQ's open, or sorry, NQ over here on OMH. So because it's on the MX exchange, this number right here where it says TAP, I don't know if you can zoom in, Paul, but it says 576. That's the theoretical auction price. If this was on the Nasdaq, we would have an idea what the theoretical auction price was. It usually moves up or down depending on whether they have more buy orders or sell orders coming during the halt. Because this is on the MX, we won't know what the theoretical auction price is. So there's no way for us to know during the halt whether we're in or out of the money, right? So be careful with this one, but it looks like you're already involved. I hope you printed up multiple storms on that, Paul. And let me know how you do. As you know, somebody who's involved in small caps, I'm obviously cheering for you. So get it, my man. Hope you're doing well. And I want to point everybody's attention to OMH, because here it is. It's taking out highs. Well, not the high of the day, local area highs. Let's give this one the old community college try. And what the beak here at 59, I think we got 58s. Looking for a breach, looking for 60 now. Let's put one there. We're going to put 61. There's 60 that just flashed. No continuation through 60. There it goes. 61. We've taken out all my orders now. Let's set up at 62, right? We'll see what we get. Won't get upset. Shout out to my man Neil. 61 seller at the moment. 60.73 is the high of the day, according to my black charts, which doesn't make a lot of sense because I know I got 61 there. Now, the problem with this one is, guys, is that it can bleed its own blood. We saw that with the initial breakout, so I'm going to be very, very stingy with where I allow this one to go. I'm not going to allow it to breach 57. If it does, I'm out, Joey.
All right, man, good stuff. So, yeah, we're back in. We added a little bit. We added 33% more. to this position, and this is going to be our final attempt on Bitcoin. If it doesn't break this downtrend, then we can classify this thesis as invalid, and then after that point, it can do whatever it likes to do. Now, no, but seriously, I'm like, genuine question, as frustrating as that can be, I'm more curious on like what are the mechanics behind this, because I'm convinced that there's no coincidence that I am the bottom wick right here and then it decides to turn around a little bit. So I would love to be able to say this, like, hey man, you don't got to tell me your secrets, just let me observe and see what actually works behind this, because it happens more often than not. It's like, what happened? Like, why am I the bottom wick or the top wick and then price turns around right after? And this is the conversation I actually had with Hangry Wife yesterday. It's like, Joe, I was in, so Hangry Wife stated to me, hey Joe, I was in this position, I got wicked out, and then the stock proceeded to move $8 in my favor moments after. And my answer to Hangry was, well, you need to take another attempt on it, because sometimes really good theses take more than one attempt in order for it to work. Now, what is the mechanics behind this? Now, this is me taking an additional attempt. Now, the question is is this a quality thesis or not? And what we're starting to be displayed right now is it isn't, as Bitcoin continues to break down, and then maybe it'll take until that 2 o'clock hour if it wants to turn around. So there it goes, cracking the low of the day. We take another hefty hit on this bad boy, as it looks like the momentum is most definitely to the southeast, and there is no buyers looking to step in. So I'll have to, let's say, how's the saying go? Lick your wounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, I mean, it's probably not the best tasting. Just like this right here, we're all out of Bitcoin. There it goes, and it continues to slide. So we'll take another hit on this one. But guess what? It's getting eliminated off of my charts. And you guys noticed that as of late, I haven't been trading it that much. So what am I going to replace it with at this point? Anything. I'll put AMD up there, as that is at the high of the day. We'll put AMD on our other side chart. Let's see what AMDL is doing over there. So unfortunately, we go 0 for 2 on the trash coin here, and we'll see if we can find anything else that's really setting up. Now, I'm tempted to go short the market, but I already gave you guys my spiel on it's just too difficult to do so right now, considering the memory storage names are performing really well. Now, AMDL has a wider spread, 10 cents, right? For something that's put in 1.75 million shares on today's session. Oh, there we go. We never got that changed. So yeah, regardless of what happens with Bitcoin, we took our attempts. We had the idea, and it's just not the asset class that is going to fulfill it, I guess, at the end of the day, right? So we'll take one more gander at it. We'll break it down. Downtrend, strong morning price action, 945 all the way up there, but no engagement after that. And I mean, we're sitting almost at 1 o'clock now. For me, we dug a nice little hole for us. Let's see, I'm probably down, yeah, more than half a shutdown, which isn't ideal. But hey, if I can pick away at it in the latter half of the session, and I'm talking about that 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock hour, then by all means I'll be happy. But it won't be via Bitcoin. I don't really care about this thing anymore. Get down. Got Apple 329, 722 expiry puts. Send it. All right. Like, yeah, if you feel that way, I mean, it's still. Okay, it's coming back in a little bit. Is that going to add any downward PA for the Nasdaq? I guess it doesn't even really matter, because you are now officially $2 off of that high, man. Congratulations. 329 puts expiring tomorrow, it looks like. I wish you nothing but the best, my friend. Lock in as much profit as you can on that one. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We take the losses on Bitcoin. We just won't be trading it as actively as we were in the past, and I think you guys can attest to the fact that I truly haven't, because I just don't think it's something that is in vogue right now, and I think the price action speaks enough volumes. It
does, doesn't it? We had another super. Shout out to Ray Presidente, 4067. He dropped 5 nice ones in the chat. Joey, how does AI disrupt Google's ad business as people turn to AI to find things instead of the Google search bar? That is one of the pressing questions we had initially. I would say 23, 24, even parts of 25. And then we saw how Google was going to monetize that. Well, they have a great LLM of their own, of course, Gemini. It's really improved since coming out, because it used to be hot garbage. But then they also have AI summaries, right? Let's look. I saw somebody in the chat there say Sophie Cunningham's dropping a shoe release with Adidas. So let's just search that. And then on the top there, look at that, Joey, AI overviews right away. So they're monetizing this bad boy. And then you're obviously getting some ads beside it there, right? So you're getting, it's essentially generating that impression for the ad business. So two things I would say to that. One, you have AI overviews or AI summaries, however you want to call it, that are organically appearing in the search. And then you also have, of course, Gemini itself. Now, to answer your question about the ad business, because I think that's what you're referring to, Gemini currently doesn't have ads, does it? Even the free plan, not like we'd know because we have Gemini for work, right? So we have the pro version. So it's not like I've been using free Gemini, so I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I haven't heard any ad news stories saying that they had ads. But I gotta also say, I didn't know that chat had ads either, and then you surprised me with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say, I agree with everything that you say. Listen, you know what it is? I'll ask Gemini some questions. The other day I asked it a basic question. What is the dollar amount of American GDP? And it refused to give me an answer, and I had to reword it. Gemini. Yeah, the paid version as well too. Yeah, it's really weird. From my experience, it's actually there's different tools that I like Gemini for. I like image creation. I like using it for slides. But as for an LLM tool and asking it basic questions, it's actually my least favorite, to be honest with you. Yeah, I was asking, like, what is the United States GDP? And it just gave me just like this
right
bogus.
there, brother.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't make it up, man.
I believe everything you say.
Yeah,
I know you're
I don't know. I don't know why.
You probably just caught it in a bad mood.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. But if I have to deal with the mood of an LLM, then what am I even doing?
But I want to point out one other thing. We talk a lot about AI being in the form of chatbots, but that's not where the trend is going, is it, Joey? We know that agentic AI and inference now is becoming the real deal. So why am I bringing this up? Because of the ecosystem. The Google I'm talking about the Gmails, the calendars, the every on a Google version of OpenClaw and how much you can consolidate all that information and what you can do with all information. So I think Google's got a leg up when it comes to, basically, I don't know, harmonizing your data for whatever purpose you're trying to use it for. So I do like that aspect of Google. Now, to be fair, we haven't really seen them go all in on that quite yet. And I want to say one other thing, we talk about agentic AI, but it's dwindled a little bit. You know what I mean? Like Claude,
I would just take over your computer and do whatever you want.
It feels like maybe it's not being talked about as much anymore. I don't know. That's kind of.
But that's the thing, man. Some things are one day. Like I was listening to the chairman. Did you watch that bit with the the chairman of OpenAI on CNBC?
No. What happened?
Very, very interesting. So the way that they're going to become profitability aside from
Grokman you're talking about?
Yeah, I believe that's who it is. So for me, the way that he was explaining this is that with Kimmy and everything along those lines, we talk about token usage and token maxing and everything, but he was talking about the efficiency of the token. So just because something is a little bit less expensive per token doesn't mean it's as high quality. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
LLM sucks. So
but this is him explaining
I get
and across the board. So what he was getting at essentially is that these frontier models are more efficient, even though from a per token or energy usage standpoint, they may be more expensive. You get a better generational output compared to what the Kimmy is. So you can put in the same thing. It just expends more energy, but at a lower cost is what he was getting at. And I liked what he had to say, but also this is what I was getting at here, Sharif.
Go ahead.
I believe we're in the earliest stages of this AI revolution. We're talking about LLMs and things that are in something that we physically can't touch. At some point, it's going to step out of computers, and then that's when we take that next bit, like the actual robotics. And the LLMs are going to be a thing of the past. It's going to be like that calculator that was never on your phone at one point.
Yeah, exactly. Well said. No, I don't disagree with any of that. But when it comes to Brockman making that statement, we also have to view it in the biased light,
Absolutely.
which it's presented, right? He obviously has his duty is to his company and his shareholders. And I'm assuming he wants to hold on to his margins and his pricing power. So he's got to make the case that, you know, he charges more, but it's worth it. So that's, I respect him for doing that. I don't want anything to do with OpenAI. Yeah. I just want to be very clear.
And just to add your point, he actually was praising Opus and everything. Yeah, right? Like,
because it would be like BS if he wasn't, because it's good.
Right, and he was actually praising it, and that's the example that he was using. It's like, okay, yeah, you're paying more for the Claude features opposed to having the open source feature of Kimi, but the output is more efficient than what Kimi can provide being an open source model.
All right, let's go up to Sia.
Let's take a look at what's going on with the money markets at the moment. You have the pound that has dipped while UK gilts as yields reached fresh 2 months highs as of today after investors have weighed the prospect of higher government spending and how also the new finance minister of the United Kingdom, that is John Healey, will be financing it. Let's also take a look at the dollar before we send it back to the guys. The dollar is currently, I want to take a look at how it's performing on the day. It's up 0.11% right now, trading around the 101.1 mark. It opened at the 101 mark, so safe to say it's climbed a little bit, but it's still pulling back and reaching the same levels as the open. We'll see how it does later in the day.
Thank you for that, Sia. Guys, I'm still watching OMH here, so I finished my trade on it before, but look, I think that we're still, it looks like it's accumulating here for a 65 break. It's got an ominous high a day, quadruple sixes, not triple sixes, 6666, the high of the day on OMH, but it continues to struggle printing anything above 65, but I'll submit to you guys, I think there's a bit of a range afoot at the moment with general 60 area support and 65 resistance. This current bar on the 5-minute chart has a higher low, and here we are at 65, and you can see the aggressive selling right at 65. We've done over 100 million shares on the day, but that is, you know, normal for a sub $1 name. But I think that this one could get to 3/4, especially if we catch a bid. It's going to be on a lot of people's radars now, right? It's up 158, 160%. It's getting closer to that dollar. So if you filter your scanners like I used to, south of 85 pennies, it's getting closer and closer to possibly showing up here. So I could be persuaded, certainly, to work back into OMH because it looks like it's the best of the bunch at the moment. CPHI still halted, up halted that is, but it's, I think we're going on an hour now, right? What 12:29? No. So we're about half an hour right now. We're about half an hour inside this halt. The earliest open time could be 12:59:57. It is currently 57 and change, 57:35 currently. So, yeah. And oh, by the way, GREE, I stopped out of that. I took myself out of the trade break even. I didn't like the look of this one's jib. It was putting in lower highs, so that wasn't for me. I got the hell out, and I think that that was the right call because it bled all the way down to VWAP. Now, that presents you with a possible new entry here, especially if it holds up at VWAP and starts moseying on back into 3. So GREE should be in focus for the small cap gapper inclined, but I would submit to you guys that I think OMH right now has the best possibility to get to break out, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And there it goes through 65. Here comes 66, and there goes 66 for the moment. Into 65 again we go. So look for a decisive move here, but OMH, there's 66 again. Now they're selling at 66. So they're selling at every penny here, which makes it a bit of a thicker trade. Buvin's in the chat, baby. He wants me to look longer the halt, the bigger the move up. Get it, Buvin? I don't know, brother. I've seen it the other way as well, Buvin. I've seen long halts gap down pretty substantially, but hey, for everybody's sake right now, who's long CPHI, I hope that actually happens. Shout out to my man Zaya. 666s, I see the devil. LOL, about to open the gates of hell. It's like Zion Lala, man. Oh no, OMH, Joey, bleeding its own blood. It took like an hour to move up 5 pennies. Yeah. It took seconds to move down 16.
Yeah, man.
Why does it do that?
That's what I'm saying. I would love to see.
My days.
I'd love to see behind the screen.
Yeah, I know.
Like Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, exactly. Who's punching in there?
Who's Oz?
Yeah. so we can get them.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know. I would just have a nice civil conversation.
Real. Stop saying.
What do you say? What do you say? Stop
Case.
saying?
Case, I thought you had some more important business to attend to.
Oh.
She dunked on us and left, and then she's like, the small cappers are doing amazing today. I'm back.
She's back.
Get it.
And she got the itch.
Get it, Case. You notice how she changed her picture there, huh?
No.
Yeah.
What is it
Changed
now?
her picture because,
it?
well, there were too many people messaging.
Yeah. Oh, is that what happened? The
Now she
DMs.
just put her initials on there now.
Get
it, Case.
Were the DMs getting?
CPHI is open options, man, and it's ripping. In the 760, there it goes, man. 840 limit up, CPHI. Watch out here, guys. Big move up. High of this candle, I believe, is $8.40, guys. So CPHI open and ripping. We're sending it to Adara.
Seeing a lot of posts on social media over the last couple minutes about this. SpaceX and Microsoft with a collaboration here. SpaceX announcing that Grok for Outlook is going to be available here as a Microsoft 365 add-in, available today through all paid X and Super Grok users. So SpaceX here with that announcement for Super Grok and other platforms, again, in tandem with MSFT. Believe this was introduced earlier today, but seeing it circulate now, so I thought I'd mention. I couldn't get the exact time of release. Back to you.
For those who are interested in Super Grok, Elon adjusted it because somebody commented in the chat that you should get Premium X if you sign up for Super Grok. So you will get both. If you do want to pay, I think, what is it, $200 a month, something like that, for Super Grok. He had a deal on that. I'm pretty sure that, I don't know if he's still offering the deal because it was like 60% off. Super Grok offer, there it is. So you can get 3 months for 40 Canadian dollars. I don't know, that's probably 10 American dollars, I'm kidding. That's about 67% off. You pay $13.33 a month, you pay that up front, and then it renews after 3 months for $40 a month. So you're getting over 50% off, 67% off. It expires May 14th, 2027. So I think you got some time. So needn't worry. But yeah, Super Grok, apparently according to Elon, it's the world's most powerful AI, or so it reads there. In any event, Joey, CPHI open, and it's zigging and zagging here. A little above 8, a little bit below 8. Let's see how this cookie crumbles.
All right, man. Let's see what everybody's up to in the chat. I know I haven't been in there today, so I've just been focusing on trying to turn this session around. I mean, we've been on a pretty good run as of late, and we thought we'd try to get that to continue, but that's it's not about it's all about the stocks that you pick, all right? And we were messing around with trash coin for some whatever reason that is. All right, guys, what are you looking at right now? I'm gonna full disclosure. I think we're gonna start the news relatively soon. How do you not have an actual chat handle? I do. You just tagged me. I just finished mentioning I wasn't in the chat. So you just add me Joe TTV. Then we got Crouching Tiger, 10-figure day. Right.
Oh my days.
A 10-figure day?
10-figure? That's a lot. I usually hear 5-figure, 4-figure. That's reasonable. 10 figures is a lot of money.
Isn't that $1 billion? All right, there we go. Yeah. Oh, five. How do you go from? All right, man.
5-figure, I can believe.
That's justifiable. If you made $1 billion, my boy, it ain't a thing to send 1% to your Sharif and I's way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, anyways, aside from that, guys, what do you guys got going on here today?
Hit that cat.
Yeah, hit that cat. However, those figures are to the right of the decimal point. Very valid point. Like Kevin War said, he says, we may not care. Yeah, task force. He said he may not care what's on the right side of the decimal, right? So 2%. What is on the right side of it?
Yeah.
Right? Is that where they're going to be?
Canada's been like that for a hot minute, Joey.
Yeah,
We've been
I think that's reasonable.
Between 2 and 3%. The Fed, the American Fed, refuses to adopt that
I don't know why.
range. It's 2% and 2%. Right? Like, that's
only.
it. Right?
How long have they been battling it now? For the past how many years?
We're going on 5, aren't we?
Yeah. So I mean, hey,
Maybe
man,
a bit more.
You can keep fighting, but if that's your, if that's the MO, if that's kind of what your policy is, then by all means continue with what you got. What's good with Kawhi Leonard? No, let's talk some market. I don't feel like talking sports right now.
Hold on. You hear about why this is being held up?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so listen to this. Fact check me on this chat if I get parts of the story wrong, but this is my understanding of it. So when he left Toronto and he went to LA, right? Remember that whole move? Why did he go there? Obviously, you know, part of it was to win, right? LA, this, and that's where he's from and stuff. But a lot of people were saying Steve Ballmer, did strike a deal with him that was outside the rules of the NBA.
Yep.
So listen to this. So Kawhi incorporated a company. Let's just call it Company K for Kawhi, all right? Under the terms of the deal that he had for his contract with the Clippers with Ballmer, if Company K filed for bankruptcy, then Kawhi would be due a lump sum payment of some huge magnitude. I forget what the number was. I think like 20 million or 25 million, something like that. So obviously this was a shell company. The company didn't do any business, had nothing really in reality, and was set up for its sole purpose of literally filing bankruptcy later on so that Kawhi would be due the windfall.
Yeah.
So my understanding is that that's how the kind of the setup went. And correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Again, I'm not really too sure, but this is what's being investigated now. Now, this wasn't Ballmer's idea. You know who this came from?
Who?
The former owner of Chelsea.
Oh,
Forget
yeah.
his name. Abramovich.
Okay.
Roman Abramovich. He was doing that with all the top soccer players. He would basically give them a number on paper, so that's what you're on paper making. But
on there.
I'm going to give you some other cash there, set up this shell corporation, and whatever has to happen with that shell corporation, you'll be due a windfall.
Yeah.
And so that's why Chelsea was also under investigation by the FA and the Prem, and the new American owners, they're like, they settled for billions. They're like, we just want to move on from this, okay?
Yeah.
Whatever Abramovich did, we're new owners, how much do we owe? And they got the hell out of there, and they just paid the fine, and now they're moving on.
Okay.
So fact check me, am I right on this, chat, or like did I get part of this wrong? Or
He didn't
let me
learn
know.
the first time? You're saying he didn't learn from the first time?
Who?
With Chelsea.
Well, Abramovich didn't give a you know what, right? Like
Yeah.
they took Chelsea from him because of the war with Ukraine and Russia, right?
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
and he was actually trying to be an intermediary in the beginning between West and East, and that ended up blowing up in
really?
his face. Yeah. No, whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, and if it was about the money, then I guess that's why Kawhi did it. But I always stand by you never leave a team that goes to the finals or win a championship. You stick with them for as long as you can. That's my opinion. It just doesn't make sense.
Get it. Get it,
See,
Tiff.
Tiffany agrees. And I mean, another name that I am going to be referring to is Bo Bichette. You're gonna chase the money.
Paid.
You would get paid too. He would have maybe obviously not get as much, but at the end of the day, I think the majority of these athletes are out there to win. And if you do something like that, then I don't know, you just dwindle your chances.
There's news on GSUN. I don't see it, guys. I don't see the news on GSUN, but I see it tanking. I don't know what the hell happened here with GSUN, but it popped through 35 into 41.75. It's bleeding its own blood down into 33, so it's right back into that range. But GSUN did pop up and then drop back down. Spencer, we're talking about Kawhi Leonard and why the holdup between the trade between the Clippers and the Raptors, why it's being held up. And I was just explaining to Joe, at least what I understood to be the investigation by the NBA into the deal that he had with the Clippers. And that's what we're talking about there. Hosein is making me laugh. He's like, Sharif, you're absolutely right, but I have no idea what you're talking about. What a guy, bro. Always making me chuckle, man. All right, man. I'm looking a little deflated today. Well, you know what, man? We can't always be on top of our game, right? So hopefully we'll get a little bit more inflated when we hit the gym a little bit later.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking here too, man. I just want to go to lift some weights.
Well, you're not going to be able to hit the outdoor park today.
No,
you're
not
going to
today.
have to
No, that's what I'm saying.
do it indoors. Go ahead, yeah.
I feel like I'm having after a bad day or anything, I go to the gym and instantly.
Immediately.
Like I feel it as soon as I'm stepping in, and as soon as the first set, you're feeling great by the end of it.
I wonder,
like you're dead by the end of it.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, like at the end of the day, what do you need energy for? I want to rest anyway, right?
Literally. I started hitting it in the mornings too.
Nice.
You feel like drained, but actually you don't. Like you actually have an energy boost by the end of it.
Initially, you kind of feel tired, right? But it's funny how the energy works back in, like slowly. So I completely agree with you. Get it, Sia. All right, let us know when you're ready for the news. Yeah, she's ready to go. Okay, Assassino, if we can, let's start the news segment.
I'm ready.
Let's start the news segment by NVIDIA. So NVIDIA has become the most valuable company now because of the climbing demand for its graphics processing unit, that's the GPUs, which is the primary chip that's used for creating as well as deploying AI. So now this is a bit of a competition market that it stepped into with two other names, as you know it, AMD and Intel INTC. So the company is now shipping its own central processing units, that is CPUs, which cloud providers can decide to deploy in place of those from, like I said, AMD and INTC, opening up a whole new competition in this sector. So as of today, NVIDIA has released new information about its data center CPU called Vera. As you know it, that includes specifications and the kind of benchmarks, that architectural information that prospective customers will also need to fully evaluate the chips. So it includes all of this that they will need to evaluate the chips as well. So NVIDIA's representatives have also made a comment and continued to say that where Vera chips have been delivered to clients, including OpenAI, Anthropic, and SpaceX in June. Adira, do you have any comments on this?
Yeah, to me, it seems like they're just trying to get ahead of that advancing AI event from AMD. There's going to be a whole bunch of companies that are going to be at the event. I have a whole infographic just on all the companies that are going to be speaking at the event. That's going to be coming out later today. But you've got like half the Mag 7s. You've got Oracle. You've got a whole bunch of heavyweights. IBM is going to be there as well. So a lot of really big deal companies announcing some kind of collaboration here or work with AMD, or just speaking at this AMD event on how they can work with AMD. So I think from an NVIDIA perspective, we know how savvy Jensen and team are. I think it totally makes sense that they just want to be like, hey guys, yeah, I know they're going to have their event tomorrow, but before that, we have an announcement too. We're doing great things too. It seems to go little. I think it's both savvy and also kind of desperate at the same time, but knowing NVIDIA, they don't really need to be desperate. So yeah, I think the timing of this is really the only thing that's notable about it to me.
Doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. Sorry, not Adara, this person that I was listening to there on my phone. All right, I want to comment about the deal today with Nebius. I know that's not what the headline was, but it is something that I'm keeping an eye on. And I also want to mention as well the AI event, of course, for AMD. As I spoke about this morning on the AMD part of the story, their Helios rack. This is super important for the company, and I think it is going to be a competitor to the Vera Rubin stack that we're seeing come from NVIDIA next. So Vera Rubin, it's this GPU, CPU stack. Of course, AMD has the same thing with their MI and their EPICs, and that's going to be included in their Helios. But there's a couple of things that I want to point out. First and foremost, AMD's is going to be markedly more expensive. It's about $2 million, $2 to $2.5 million more per rack, with a $5 to $5.5 million price tag versus the $3 to $3.5 that NVIDIA said to be selling theirs for. However, AMD's ROCm is their version of CUDA. CUDA is a closed source kind of system, and ROCm is going to be open source. And so you're going to be able to build your own application layer on top of that. A lot of people are saying that could be worth the money because you're not going to be locked in to NVIDIA's ecosystem. So I want to hear more about that, of course, when we hear about it at the AI event. Now, with respect to the story on Nebius, that circularity in the AI trade rearing its ugly head yet again. $2 billion, 9.3% stake that they took in Nebius, with the caveat that all that money be spent, earmarked for purchase of the H200, Joseph, which was supposed to be a China-only specific CPU, or GPU, pardon me, which they can't obviously sell in any number, so now they're selling it to American clients, as well as the GPU, their Blackwell GPU. So all the money that NVIDIA is investing in Nebius is contractually obliged to take that money right back and put it right back onto NVIDIA's top line. I don't think the circular argument of the circular investment thesis is taking anybody by surprise anymore, but I don't think that makes it any less important. That's the first point that I wanted to make. The second point is, it looks like NVIDIA purchased this 9.3% ownership vis-a-vis warrants. Shout out to Darwin in the chat who loves his warrants. 21.07 million pre-funded warrants acquired using a $2 billion. They carry a strict contract clause preventing NVIDIA from exercising or selling any of them until September 11th of this year. And then last but not least, all the money that Nebius is getting from NVIDIA not only is obviously going to be spent on NVIDIA, but it has to be earmarked for that greenfield data center, which is supposed to be at completion about 5 gigawatts. It's going to be both in Europe and the United States.
Yeah, I like the points that you brought up here, Sharif, just the circularity of everything. We know that Jensen and company have also a $2 billion investment in Marvell, who could be a direct competitor, well, maybe a competitor, someone who can grab market share from some of the other hyperscalers with their own custom chips. Now, one thing that I was reading up on here is I find very interesting is that they unveiled the next generation Ethernet platform, Spectrum 6, for its AI data centers. Now, who's going to be involved in this new platform? Well, you have the CoreWeaves, Microsoft, Nebius, SpaceX, and Tesla, who are all going to be the first users of this new technology, which I think is really interesting. I mean, we talked about this yesterday, that when you're at the top, there's really only one way you can go, and it's down. But I think if anybody has the ability to hold on to a large part of their market share, it's with NVDA as they continuously grow to become vertically and horizontally integrated into each system. And I think that's the beauty of this company. And with their investments left, right, and center, like Jensen's just putting himself in the right place at the right time in every aspect. But my question to you, Sharif, and we had this conversation yesterday, was just the geopolitical tensions between Taiwan and China. And I brought up the point of, hey, do you think, considering if it's that far of a forecast, do you think that there would be an onshoring situation between NVDA? But besides that, my question to you is not necessarily about that. My question is, do you think it would be easier for NVDA to create its own fabrication plants or for TSM to design its own chip?
Well, I think the fabs just take a lot longer than the design phase. Yeah. So just ask Tesla with Terafab, right?
Yeah.
Look at the growing pains he has to go through with that, right? So I think that the fab definitely the tougher, just because it takes longer time.
A longer time.
And we how many fabless chip designers do we have, dude? Broadcom, NVIDIA, AMD. I mean, the list goes on. The only fab ones is Intel. That's a designer and a fab. TSM doesn't design, right? They just do your design.
Yeah, exactly. So NVIDIA just sends the design over to TSM, and then they fabricate it. They build everything.
Yes, exactly. But to answer the first part of your question, I was watching a little piece yesterday by CNBS on the Helios rack, right? And the reporter from CNBS was asking, I think he was the executive VP of product, something like that, and he's like, she was asking him about the Arizona fab for TSMC and whether he's getting product from that, and he's already getting. So if AMD is getting product from the Arizona fab, rest assured NVIDIA is getting, because they were first in priority.
Absolutely.
Right? Recall AMD couldn't even get their chips made because NVIDIA had all their capacity locked in for a time. Now it's not like that, right? So that's what I'm trying to say there. And just before we go back to SIA, CPHI is ripping, guys. It just ripped into $9. This is all gas, no break. It is a 940 high, 979 limit up right now from what I can see on the level 2. Here it is again into the mid-teens. CPHI, get it, Bovin. I see you celebrating there, my man. Keep your eye on this one, but be careful. We've seen what this one can do. And when it halts, it can take like half an hour to open up again. We had a half an hour halt already on an up halt. So be on the lookout for that. Shout out to my man Bovin. And we're going to send it back to Sia.
Let's take a look at Google right now. You have Alphabet releasing 3 new Gemini models as of today. Gemini 3.5 flash cyber designed to protect and patch software vulnerabilities and will initially be available only to governments and trusted partners through a limited access pilot. Google has also said that the specialized model now runs at a lower price per token than when compared to larger models. Also, this can potentially help Google narrow its cybersecurity gap with Anthropic, as we've been known to, which Anthropic has built an early lead in automated code defense. Google also, on the other hand, is launching Gemini 3.6 Flash, which improves coding, multimodal, and knowledge work performance while also using up to 17% fewer tokens compared and costing less per token than its previous model, which is a meaningful reduction in the cost of running high-volume workloads. With that, you have Google trading currently flat on the day. Adara, give us your take.
Yeah, I have to mention this because I mentioned this when I first mentioned this story earlier today, like, oh, Google has these new versions of the Gemini 3.5. Now, apparently these are all cheaper versions. There's still no updates for that flagship Pro version. Now, why is that significant? Because the flagship Pro version, as of last week, was reportedly delayed. So this is interesting. I think that's still going to be the model that you're going to have to watch out for here. If we get more details on that, I think that'll be more of interest. I think Google, kind of like what NVIDIA was doing with their, announcement ahead of the AMD Advancing AI event, I think Google's trying to put up a smoke screen. Like, okay, guys, like, hey, yeah, we'll work on that still, but we have new models for you. Look at these. I think it's a bit of a distraction. And I think, again, it is worth noting this announcement in contrast or in context with, or, in conversation with that report last week, again, that their most powerful AI model, the Gemini 3.5 Pro, having those delays. I think that's, again, worth remembering and worth contextualizing this story with.
So I have a bit of an issue with this, okay? And what the issue is here is the kind of the guard railing of these more advanced models because they pose a risk to cybersecurity. Listen to this. Someone on X yesterday, they posted the following. I use Kimi to patch our company's legacy software because Fable won't do it, Mythos won't do it, and some other frontier American models won't do it. They say cyber guardrails. So you're an IT, say, exec. You send off your engineer. You're like, look, get our legacy software in order. Make sure it's patched and tested. So you go into these models, you run it, and you're like, hey, fix this for me. But because you can use that to actually exploit vulnerabilities, they've guardrailed Fable and Mythos and all these frontier models to not allow it to do that. So you know what people are doing? They're freaking using Kimi to patch it, man. So is that what we want? Or do we want to use the Chinese models to get our American or North American legacy software fixed? Because that's exactly what's happening because, of this, the administration was the one that put pressure on these frontier model companies to kind of get it in order. Now, I get it comes from a right place, but what's actually happening here is people are getting around those guardrails and they're going to the Chinese to do it. So I don't like that. I think that is, you're siphoning off part of our market share by putting these guardrails around it. So that's the first thing that I want to say. And the second thing, apparently it's as good as Claude Opus 4.6 in terms of coding, but that's not because the LLM is just inherently better. Apparently it's using this code mender orchestration framework, which is which is cheaper and more efficient, apparently, and delivers kind of the same result when it comes to coding. So those are the 2 points that I had, but I think the first point there is my number one concern, that you're going to the Chinese models to get what you want done because the American models are guardrailing.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough to say. I was looking for a bit here, Sharif, that I actually watched on this. I forget the company name. I was thinking of it yesterday, but anyways, what they do is for your specific task is that they'll set you up and then they'll lead you towards the best model. And the Kimi conversation was brought up to the tune of like, hey, running into these guardrails specifically when it comes to the Mythos of the world and as Sharif is mentioning, the Fables. So what I'm getting at here essentially is that there are these alternatives, and one of them being Kimi and the DeepSeeks of the world. But the question is, who is more efficient? And I think that's the most important thing, is that we talk about token usage. Now, so you don't use Fable 5 or Mythos to ask it, hey, give me a recipe to make some spaghetti and meatballs. No, that's not the objective, because you're just using too many tokens for a basic and generic question, and that's where the efficiency lies. So if you were to ask Kimi a more complex question, it would take significantly more token or energy usage than what actually the highest tiers of what we're seeing through Anthropic. Now, as for Gemini, listen, the ecosystem that's being built within Google is second to none, in my opinion. And they're going to continue to be at the top of the space. Right now, I don't know if I'm going to call these Kimi, but there's no way, in my opinion, we've seen it before within DeepSeek, that the Chinese are going to have the ability to implement the exact models that we're seeing through the Anthropics in the ChatGPT world at a fraction of the cost. There's something behind it because you have the smartest people in the world generating these things, and then that's when I got to the point of token efficiency, and these things are a lot less efficient. So the question being between a lot of corporations is, how do I maximize my token usage? And if you're looking at the DeepSeeks and the Kimmies, I don't believe that's the answer. The frontier models are significantly more efficient. See ya.
What we're going to talk about next is SpaceX. So as I mentioned in Happening Now earlier, so SpaceX had shot past the 6% mark for being in the green today. It's currently soaring above 7%. So it's gained today, and it's attempting to snap a 7-day losing streak after setting its first earnings report date now, which coincides with a major share lockup expiration. Stay with me. Let's take a look at this. So the company has announced 4th of August as the date that it will be talking about its debut earnings report. It also triggers the company's unique lockup period now, which allows insiders to begin trading shares selling shares earlier than expected, than the typical 180-day period. So with that, SpaceX has taken a rather staggered approach to this, where allowing insiders to sell portions of their stock at an earlier interval to prevent massive selling and also price volatility. The first earnings report will pave the way for investors to sell 20% of their 20% of their eligible locked up stock, a total amount of up to 911.5 million shares. So an additional 10% can also be freed up on top of this if the stock closes at least 30% above its IPO price. So whether that happens or not, we'll have to take a look and watch out for 5 of the 10 trading days heading into the earnings report. SpaceX is currently up over 7%.
Here, Sia, but let's talk about this one. You know, there's a lot that we can say. 7 1/5 today, below 135. At the time of the close yesterday, it was 45% off its all-time high at around 226. But I still think that there's a lot of good fundamental reasons to punch into this name at a rich valuation, because it still is rich relative to earnings. You got 10 million customers for Starlink. And I submit to you guys that number is only going to grow, especially with direct-to-phone connectivity possibly around the corner. We'll have to wait and see, of course, how that all gets managed. You had Deutsche Bank today giving them the nod, initiating coverage, buy rating, $225 price target. They view the sentiment-driven drop kind of below the debut levels as an opportunity for patient buyers. But those patient buyers, if they're going to buy, have to know that they are buying something richly valued. It's trading at about 84 times sales, probably a little bit more now, with that 7% bump. It is a high conviction, high volatility growth play. And, you know, if you, a lot of people I feel like invest in this because they invest in Elon Musk. And, you know, what's his name? Ackman came out yesterday and kind of echoed that same sort of adage or wisdom that we've heard Buffett and the like say for a decade now. You don't bet against Elon Musk. And whether you believe that or not, maybe you have the opposite view. I would say I kind of agree with that, right? There are times, of course, when you look at the chart and it feels good to bet, or feels right, I should say, to bet against Elon Musk. But I think when you, actually, I can't even make that statement anymore, because Tesla's been in the same place it's been for 5 years, right?
It's back to where it was half a decade ago.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what it does when robotaxi is fully autonomous and it's on the road. But right now, people are right about, you know, the sideways nature of Tesla.
Yeah, listen, the car business is a difficult one, without any form of questioning.
Oh my God.
But I think it's the robotics, again, probably a decade away before it's integrated into more of the common household. A decade. Yeah, I know. That's my opinion. I just think it's. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, remember the Fab, or sorry, let's call it the Gigafactory. Sorry, not Fab.
Yeah, where you.
For X and S.
Yeah.
Remember the discontinued units, right?
Yeah.
Gutted. They demolished.
Dude,
hold on.
Yeah,
and
okay.
why did they destroy all those machines that they paid billions of dollars for? Because you know what's going to come out of that same Gigafactory, right?
I do.
Right? You're gonna get.
Well, he talked about he talked about the timeline before on his previous earnings report, saying he's looking at 1 million of the Optimus version 1.0, and then the following year another 1 million as well too.
Yeah.
Now,
I think those numbers are inflated, to be honest with you, but
big time.
Yeah.
One thing that I will say though, Sharif, I believe that we are significantly closer to having mass adoption in between full self-driving autonomous vehicles than we are to using robotics in our day-to-day operations.
Okay. No, I have to agree with that.
Right,
100%.
right.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that's going to be the driver. Listen, I think that a lot of these ICE engines, ICE, internal combustion engine. Listen, their days are numbered. I'm a firm believer, man, that AVs and autonomous vehicles are the way of the future. And I built my point on the fact that think about all the people that are commuting multiple hours a day. Why would you want to do that, right? So I think a lot of people would fall into that area. But as for SpaceX, listen, this is a story. Thankfully, we get to see the numbers and how much this company is actually bleeding money, because it will be. It will be. The street, who knows how they're going to perceive it, but this is another thing that you have to have a longer horizon on, a time frame within an investment standpoint. Now, listen, think about it. I do agree with what Katina Man said.
What do you say?
With in regards to Tesla and Jensen minting the most millionaires in the earlier growth stages.
Agree.
Of the companies. I don't know if SpaceX has that ability right now. I just don't think the numbers are going to justify a 10x from where we're currently sitting.
You know what's up over 10x?
CHIP.
CPHI, 1,170% in the Ville of Green. It is halted up at $11.55, Neil. This thing was $2 when we started trading it. All right, it's a big halt time, 128.34. Earliest open 133.34. It is currently 130 and change. What a blank move on CPHI. We got a quadruple digit winner, and we have two other triple digit winners. VIVK, even though that one is not doing that well. OMH, shout out to TT Mass. That's halted up. It's up 168%, 67 pennies. So OMH for the small cap gapper inclined, CPHI for the small cap gapper inclined. Keep your eye out on these ones. I saw Tisha, pump for her, pump for Casey, pump for Bovin, everybody else who's long CPHI. Absolutely happy for you guys. Kill it. What a day for small caps today. You kind of felt it when you got onto the scanner and all the tickers I was looking at above VWAP near day high, above VWAP near a day high. You can almost smell it when it's a strong day. So.
Two things before we move on. Yesterday, I watched, you know how they have those like tug of wars between vehicles?
Yeah.
Right, there's been a hit.
Yeah,
Yesterday, I watched the Hummer EV versus the Scythe. It was a tie. It was pretty close.
Actually?
Yeah.
Oh,
and then there was another point that I had now that it's in my mind, but I guess it was that irrelevant. Oh, yes. So I try not to get too frustrated over this, and I heard a lot of people talking about it, just at the maturity that some of these new IPOs are coming to market, like Tesla or SpaceX being $1 trillion, ChatGPT, and then it's funny that I seen something. I guess my phone was listening to me at that point. But I don't know. It's just growing on me. It's really it's frustrating. I don't understand why. Why wait so long to become public? And what I'm also hearing is that there's going to be a structural change with tokenized, with all of these assets starting to be tokenized, that you're going to have access to the private market significantly easier, which will be a big time game changer, in my opinion. Which is right, because it's like, why are these companies coming in at $1 trillion valuations when they've already gone through the majority of their growth? I don't know. I don't understand.
I'm assuming the theory is that they got more to grow. But I want to say one thing: people are staying, or companies are staying private lately because they're able to access cash through the private markets in a way they couldn't before, right? For the individual asking me about OMH, it's halted up, halt time, 129.16, tap, 69.1, halt price, 67. So you're slated to gap up right now on OMH, 129.16, it's 132 and change. Let's send it back to Sia.
Now, this story is very close to my heart because I am a big fan of Cadillacs, and General Motors will be launching new gas-powered Cadillac vehicles beginning next spring as it continues to shift gears away from all-electric vehicles. Now, I like this headline. I don't have anything against electric vehicles, but I also love gas-powered vehicles. Now, GM CEO Mary Barra has said as of today that the next generation Cadillacs will include new versions of the company's CT5 sedan, outdated XT5 midsize SUV, and discontinued three-row XT6, which if you know is actually a pretty good car, SUV. Bara has said during the company's second quarter earnings call, quote unquote, starting next spring and continuing into 2028, we will begin launching the next generation of Cadillac ICE, that is internal combustion engine vehicles. She has also said the vehicles will be in addition to Cadillac's current all-electric crossovers and Escalade SUV. The new product announcements have also added to GM's pullback in EVs, which General Motors had planned for Cadillac to exclusively sell all electric vehicles by the end of this decade. The company has also walked back its EV plans for other brands and also increased gas-powered engine production, including V8 offerings. I'm just going to quickly show you this right over here. So this is the CT5 that's coming out 2026. There's a price range shown, all of that. You see these very cool sedans. They also, I'm just going to go back over here. They also gave us a look into what the SUVs will be looking at here, which honestly, not a bad look. But the cherry on top is this sedan. Hold on. I'm just going to move on to this sedan right over here at the end. Celestiq. That is, it's only available by appointment. And it's close to $500,000 just a starting price. And who said that? Who did the fill? The price is exorbitant. Yes, 100%. You would agree that the price is insane, but just the car screams luxury. Just take a look at it whenever you can.
I like it, Sia. And one of my favorite reviewers, Doug Dumoro, if you ever
I do know about
him. You know him. He did a review on this one. He loved the hell out of it. It's just I think that maybe 0.1% of the population can afford it, right? So super expensive. Let's go into this earnings report though, because GM did report earnings this morning. They beat on the top and bottom line. It was a clean beat. $48 billion in revenue, 47 expected. EPS coming in, adjusted EPS. You'll see why in a second. 357 ahead of the 318. But let's get right down to the real figures right now. EBIT did well, surged 30% year over year, $3.94 billion they brought in. EPS adjusted, 41% bump year over year. Let's talk about the GAAP net income though. Dropped 31% year over year, down to $1.3 billion because they got clipped by a $2.3 billion special charge, which is directly tied to electric vehicles and the restructuring that came from that because they're no longer just becoming an EV company, as Joseph mentioned, as Sia mentioned, very much looking to diversify their future models. So that's one thing that I want to say. Actual profitability continues to elude them. How about the adjusted automotive free cash flow? That rocketed 78% year over year. Now they have over $5 billion free cash flow, and that's going to allow them to do what? Buy back more shares. So I'm not saying we're going to see a price bottom on GM shares, but there will be kind of that perma bid hanging out there. Guys, 237 on CPHI. This thing is, I can't believe what I'm looking at here. 250%. This thing is rocking up. Joey, every time I look, here comes $13.
They're back.
1266 high, man. It's Rip City. Let's talk a little bit about China, because we've been talking a lot about how poorly Western auto manufacturers are doing in that country. Not so for GM, who has a very storied history in that country, unlike the other two American automakers. And they did quite well, jumping 16.9% year over year in terms of sales. So good look there. And then last but not least, Joey, their North American operating margins expanded by 250 basis points. Everybody's trying to say, oh, it's because they're selling more Silverados or Sierras. Not really. It's because they had fewer warranty claims. So who knew a better product would lead to fewer warranty claims and better margins? Good look for them. Guys, I just want to mention two things here, man. Limit up 1334 on CPHI. We're right there. We're going to limit up here. It looks like momentarily, unless it's a false halt. 1334, limit up CPHI. And I want to mention the other one, the TT Mass name, OMH, halt up 85 pennies. So there's a lot going on right now, guys. Trade them all carefully. It looks like CPHI is going to limit up.
Yeah, it does. I got my eyes on it right now. I was going to look to take that $12 hold, but yeah, it is what it is, man. Sharif, as for GM, listen, you guys know where I stand when it comes to some of these legacy automakers. And surprisingly so, I didn't know this. GM holds 43% of the full-size pickup market. That's huge. Like, I mean, is there that much competition considering you can't even bring in Chinese vehicles to the United States? So who are they really competing with? Ford, I think, at the end of the day. A lot of our viewers are American. Do you prefer Ford or GM? But wholesale vehicle volume increased to 990,000. That's up from 974,000 a year earlier. But the issue being worldwide deliveries, Randy, down 7.4%. Now, what do you think that is the cause of? Do we see the popularity in Chinese EVs really starting to grab market share from these guys? Or why are you starting to see a decline in some of these? And yeah, vehicles across the board. Gas prices, attaboy, there it is. Randy coming with the key answer. China equity came in, Tree brought in all of that stuff, but inventories still relatively high, in my opinion. Dealership inventories, that is sitting over 500,000 vehicles on the lot. I think that's something that you want to see slowly cut into. Now, if you ask me, these companies are going to have to interpret some form of software updates because you're going to need FSD and autonomy because holding a steering wheel, in my opinion, is going to be a thing in the past.
Randy,
yo,
let's do this. This is the BYD Shark, available in Mexico.
It's a look at it, Shark.
Hold on.
Sure.
Canadian couple, snowbirds. They go down to Mexico. They live 6 months and 6 months. They bought one of these bad boys, drove it back to Canada. Swear up and down by it. Obviously, we should tell everybody that's not serviceable here. To service it, they're going to have to mosey on down to Mexico. But I just want to show everybody.
Good excuse to go if you need an oil change or something, eh? Let's go to Mexico for the weekend.
Well, yeah, exactly.
You don't need an oil change with it.
You got to figure your entire life around the car here. So this is what we're looking at. And Randy, how about that starting price though, man? You got an electric engine in the back. You got a gas engine in the front. You got extended range EVs, Randy, as we've been talking about for years. This is what it looks like, Joey. I don't know how you feel about the design. Randy, how you feel about the design. Quad cab, obviously, right? This is what we're looking at here, man. This is what the Chinese...
What does it look like? What's that one GM vehicle that looks like that?
The Sierra?
Yeah, the Silverado maybe?
It's okay, it's a full-size-ish looking pickup. A bit of Ford in the front end there.
A little bit Ford, I agree. Very F-150 like in the front.
The box on the back is useless. It's what, 4
Small.
feet? What are you going to put in that?
There it is,
My
right
four-wheeler
there.
will not fit in the back of that thing. So, okay, their first entry into the full-size. But here's the thing. The full-size pickup market in North America is not a global phenomenon. It's only in North America. You don't see full-size pickups anywhere else.
No,
period.
agree.
End of story, end of statement. So, and ask Nissan how tough it is to get into this market. Where's the Titan?
Whatever happened to
Toyota's
that?
been playing this game for years.
Said,
they
Randy.
have just 5% of the market. So you get your Silverados, your F-Series, and the Rams, the big three, and that's it. It's a huge, huge amount of money. If the full-size pickup market didn't exist, the big three wouldn't exist either.
Can I throw this question your way? Has Toyota done relatively little in terms of eating market share because the price comparison is close to American models? If they were to undercut like BYD is planning on doing, do you think that moves the needle?
Toyota's had product in the market for almost 20 years. If you count the Tacoma or the global Hilux, even longer than 20 years. The SR5, the 4Runners, we're talking in the 80s now. They've been here a long time. I think their reason for market share, they had some engine problems with the big Tundra in the last few years. That kind of knocked sales down a little bit.
Right.
Had some recalls and some bigger problems. These are largely work trucks. Yes, they're toys to some people. They're always daily drivers, but they're being put to work. Contractors, you're hauling stuff, whatever, towing the toys, the boats.
Sure.
They work. They're not a weekend sports toy. So when they break, people get a little gnarly. So for somebody to go and buy a BYD, this retired couple, I praise them. Are they putting this truck to work?
No, I don't think so.
Probably not,
I think it's
yeah.
like,
So for a company, a contractor in, I don't know, Idaho, pick your state, to go buy a fleet of these to replace their Silverados or their F-250s.
Sure. You need more proof.
Right.
You need
'Cause you're
durability
betting the
proof.
farm, you're betting your business on the reliability, the serviceability, and the value of these vehicles. Until they can prove that, I don't see a lot of traction.
That's fair.
The box on the back is a no-fly zone for me. What are you going to put in it? Your groceries? Like, come on.
Yeah,
There it goes.
You can't, with the
CPHI.
tailgate down, you still need sheets of plywood and lumber and stuff. And make it usable. Maybe they'll do that. Maybe they'll be a long box model. I don't know. I'm glad they're getting into it. It's a tough go.
It is. And the incumbents are very well entrenched. Guys, what the hell is going on here, man? CPHI 1,500 going on 1,600. 1614 limit up. 1614 limit up. High day 1533. Pardon me. High day 1571. I feel like I'm going to correct myself a couple of times here. 1614 limit up. Get it, Casey. It is already above 15, girl. You're delayed, Casey, because you told me at one time I was delayed. 1703 limit up, Katina, man. How many shares are you punching into there, Katina, man? 14,000 curly.
Man.
1703 limit freaking up. That is now the high of the day.
Are you in this, Katina, man?
Unreal. He's short SpaceX and long NVIDIA. Get it, Katina, man.
This thing is up 1,700%.
Yeah, this is that kind of day, guys, and you're seeing it on OMH as well. It's up 258% into 109. Trade these carefully, please. Wow. Yeah. We're going to fight.
Oh, my
We're going to fight one day. Get it, Case. All right, Joey.
Yeah.
Should we send it back to Sia?
Yeah, man.
All right.
We're going to talk about the story over here. So the FDA's reversal on a key piece of Cyclosporiasis investigation has sparked a confusion in the United States, but the agency has also said, as of late yesterday, that it has not changed its main conclusions about the outbreak. It's also said in a test that indicated a sample of the iceberg lettuce that was supplied by Taylor Farms de Mexico carried the Cyclospora parasite that was a false positive. However, that only applies to one specific shipment of lettuce that was supplied, by the company, which the agency does not believe was the vehicle that sickened more than 1,600 people and potentially 1,000 of others. But there was a clarification that was made yesterday by the agency. So the FDA said that its false positive does not change its prior conclusion that the outbreak is linked to shredded iceberg lettuce from central Mexico supplied by the company Taylor Farms, which was also served at some of Taco Bell locations. Yum had taken a hit with that, so I have the stock open here for you. So investigators are also continuing to examine what exactly has caused this outbreak, which can lead to symptoms similar in a bad stomach bug for days or even weeks. Yum right now is trading flat. Stock doesn't care. Climbing a little bit over here, but we're going to send it to Adira. I want to see what she has to say about this. I want to get her take.
Yeah, this is like the McDonald's onion scare of October 2024 all over again, where you had, are people sick? Is it the McDonald's onions? It is. Oh, wait, no, it's not. Oh, wait, maybe it is. But this is like even more confusing because of the different things we're hearing from the FDA itself. So I'll just start by saying I don't really know if this is like a super tradable catalyst. I think there's just way too much going on all over the place. There's not enough volume on Yum either to justify it. But let's talk about Yum because it did bounce here around 12:06. That was after the conclusion of the latest press briefing earlier today with Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., during which he said, quote, "We do have the outbreak under control," though he didn't clarify, if they had actually decided where the outbreak had come from. And as Sia said, I'm just going to recap again because I think it's really important to just remember all of the chaos here. So as of Friday, they had linked it to, again, those 5 states, Taco Bells with the lettuce from Taylor Farms. Then as of Sunday, they had the false positive. Then as of Monday, they said, yes, there's a false positive, but we still think that, it could be Taylor Farms. So I think there's a lot of confusion. It's kind of like, don't trade in the middle of a range. Don't trade in the middle of a catalyst where no one seems to know what's going on or happening. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, I love Law & Order. I've had fun investigating this chung of a situation here with YUM and this Taylor Farm situation. If we learn more, I'll keep you posted. I'm going to keep looking into this because I'm deeply fascinated. But this is not a very yummy story or catalyst or even interesting to kind of go through just because it's so, until we get something for sure and definitive, which I don't even think we ever will at this point. This is another McDonald's onion situation of 2024. Back to you.
I have nothing to add on this. Do you?
No, we can talk about this. USO?
Sorry, I was just setting up. Let's take a look at USO. So currently you have USO that's up 2.2% on the day. Energy, like I mentioned, was looking strong. So oil remained in focus after the United States has launched another round of strikes against Iranian military targets, while Iran has reportedly attacked a tanker in the Strait of Hormuz. That's further escalating tensions in one of, as you know it, the world's most critical energy corridor, Strait of Hormuz. So the conflict has expanded as Yemen's Iran-backed Houthis, I'm sorry if I've pronounced that wrong, has declared a naval blockade against Saudi Arabia, threatening the Bab el-Mandeb Strait and putting another major oil shipping route at risk. So despite these reports and regional mediators have proposed a rather 10-day ceasefire between Washington and Tehran, markets are, as we know, skeptical, but oil prices seem to have gone up a little bit. I'm just going to quickly take a look at WTI here as well. WTI currently $84 a barrel, and followed by Brent over here, you have $88.7 a barrel.
Yeah, so this is becoming more and more interesting. So now you have some mediators, some of the same names we've been talking about, the Pakistanis, the Omanis, the Qataris, all trying to kind of, I guess, salvage the memorandum of understanding. They're trying to advocate here for a 10-day ceasefire. We'll see if they can get something done. But even if we do get a 10-day ceasefire, you're already seeing the insurers, right? The maritime insurers are like, look, we're boosting our war, they're calling it a wartime risk premium, and they're insisting that there be 10 consecutive days of what they're calling zero incidents for kind of the precipice or the reason to lower premiums. So we're not going to get, that kind of relief, I think, for a while. And if you don't get insurance coverage, you're likely not going to get ships passing. But as we spoke about yesterday, I feel at least to some extent, and might be a little bit abrasive for me to say this with oil up or USO up 2.25, but I feel the market is pricing past some of the supply constraints from the Strait. Let me make my case to you guys. We know that two Arab countries, the Saudis and the Emiratis, have pipelines that bypass the Strait. The Saudis have what they call an east to west pipeline. It was relatively new and relatively untested until recently. It has a capacity, I understand, of about 1.8 million barrels per day. Fact check me on that, chat. I may have that wrong. And the Emiratis have very similar pipeline, again, that bypasses the Strait. I know that doesn't come to the cumulative total of what was coming through the Strait, but when you look at some of the projects that they're looking to build, I think we can at least, say a cap on oil could reach this level given, current demand. So that's what I think. I think that maybe we're looking a little bit past some of the supply shock, or at least capping the price on that supply shock. That's one thing. The second thing that I want to mention is you're going to get incremental demand destruction as this thing goes on. And we saw for the first time, I believe, last month since the COVID pandemic in 2020, where demand destruction actually occurred. There was less aggregate demand for oil for the first time in about 6 years. So we're already seeing the effects of that demand destruction. So I wanted to say, obviously it's going to have an annoying effect on gas. It feels like gas reacts to this pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But just from a general sense, I think that there may be a scenario here where the Strait remains closed or doesn't allow as much traffic to go through as historically had been the case without oil going to $200 a barrel. You're saying that other sovereign nations will find alternatives in order to. They already are,
right? Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's exactly what it's going to result to. And I've been talking about this for quite some time. It was the exact same scenario. Yeah, I understand you want to tap into the American economy, but it was the exact same scenario in regards to tariffs. Countries will find alternatives and find other places to do deals. Now, if you're going to remain heavily reliant on a region that is consistently plagued by conflict, regardless of where it comes from, then by all means, you're going to find places who need the resources and find them places elsewhere. Now, to add to Sharif's point, AAA, the American Automobile Association, said the average price of gas per gallon was $4, over $4, with the highest being over $5.50. Now, people are going to find alternatives to add to your point there, Sharif, and other ways to get there. And that might be a reason why you're starting to see some upticks in EV sales as well, too. So people will find a way around the mess. And I believe it's the conflict is just being prolonged. At some point, it will come to a conclusion and a deal will be made. I just think it's going to take this, and it's been my narrative since day one. It's going to take significantly longer than what we ever have guessed.
Bro. This woman is just,
Be
you're
safe,
killing
bro.
it, Case.
KC.
Another 10 Membies. Your owner, Fox A003, Lone V1P3R,
Yeah.
Burke 852, Snowmeister, Read Write Arithmetics,
Ask the quid.
Dan Zieski,
Okay.
Kick It with Ken, love the name.
Okay.
Can Down, Barzoop, Norvell Bennett, all y'all received a free Trader TV Live membership. Thanks to the very magnanimous woman known as KC520-6. Sorry, Case, I had to add that in there. Thank you again, Case. And she also dropped a $10 super chat. Great session. Be safe, y'all. Thank you, Case. We love you. We hope you had a fantastic day. In fact, we did know you had a fantastic day because you were trading these small caps. And for all those members that I called out your name, all you guys can get my morning note every day by moseying on over to the Trader TV Live homepage, clicking post at the top, mosey on down to where it says morning market note. You'll see members only. Hit read more, hit the link, and you get my morning note every single day. It goes live at about 7:30 or so. It's getting earlier and earlier. I'm able to finish it earlier and earlier in the morning, so that's kind of good news there. Thank you again, Case, for that. And shout out to my man Rudy there. You made me chuckle. Rudy's like, what gas price problem? Well, yeah, it's nice to live where he lives. I'm like, come up here and he'll see, and he's like, look at the ticket right now.
Where does Rudy live?
Rudy, brother, where do you live at, man? Because clearly you probably live in Texas or Florida.
I just had someone mention $6 a gallon in SoCal. Cheap is $5.35.
Yeah, well, SoCal is kind of like here, though.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. It's a
well, that's what it is, right? Like, what do you get? Is it 2.8 or 3 point something liters?
He lives in California, so you know then, Rudy. I mean, come on, the gas prices aren't that
ridiculous
good.
Canadian optimism.
Is that Ram back there?
I think I'm just an optimist.
Get it, Ram.
Am I though? I don't know.
I like your hoodie, Ram. What does it say on the back? She's just so mean all the time, bro. Get it.
What are you doing over there? Oh, you're doing the lesson of the day?
She's going to do the lesson. I see Fabian.
Look how shy. Why you get so shy, Ramin? That's crazy, Fabian.
That's, you're putting up a new camera there, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
A better idea than that shot.
I know, but doesn't it block the screen, though? Yeah? Well, that's okay, then, I guess.
Gonna get in the way.
Was that the executive producer? He's making executive decisions. That's what executive producers do.
That's what they do. They got to make the tough decisions,
You know what I
man.
mean?
I don't. Okay, well, I mean.
Yeah, that's what I was asking too, Neil. I mean, it seems like a peculiar area, but
Yeah, well, hey,
fine.
let's see how long it's.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. Mind checking out my super chat on Sober? Absolutely.
You
Nick.
are the
Sorry
Hall
about
of
that,
Fame,
brother. Let me
KC.
just go back to fan funding. Nick, Sober, Thoughts, Sharif TTV. Thank you, Assassino, as always. Assassino doing it live. Let's look at SOBR. We were looking at this one yesterday, Joey. Sober. Oh. So what are we doing on the day here? We're up 12%. We're at 69 pennies long immediately. Kidding, of course. Look, it's got a good day under its belt, but it got clipped yesterday, and it's been getting clipped for the last few days. Let's flip here to the 15. Okay. So have we found a base?
Base.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, man. You know, the 70 penny area, Nick, 60, 9, 70, that was a base here that we had for a long time before we popped up there. It looks like on the 15th into about 2 2/3. It's been an unbroken downtrend, Nick. I would say we definitely got to get up to 75, right, to kind of catch a bit of a bid. Yeah, this is a tough one, Nick. But you are getting a nice bounce today. I don't know, where are you long? Like, what is your cost basis? Let me know,
brother.
Nick Dub, so we can kind of, I guess, assess the likelihood of it making back to that cost basis. But if you're asking me whether you should get long, I don't like this trend. I'm just going to say it flat out. So unless you're caught long, I'll give you my opinion. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. CPHI, boom, says Bovin. CPHI bled its own blood by halting down into 12 3/4. It just popped back into 15 3/4, now showing 12.50. Watch out, though, for the loss of $12. The loss of $12 on the 5-minute chart could be a big problem. We're going to hold down here, 1165. Watch out here. 1165, limit down here on CPHI. And if we lose that level, that's what I was saying it for. That is the 10 EMA on the 5. And this one has been quite respectful with, despite all its volatility, about respecting that 10 moving average on the 5. Take a look at the price action, guys. Very little, pardon me, in the way of breaches here. But we are right at the 10 EMA right now, halted down, 1165. Trade it carefully. We'll keep an eye out on this one. DFNS is bumping here, says Grunfeld. Nick says, scalped up 80% for a 5% gain, now holding 1,000 shares at 66.50. 66.5. I hope you print up multiple storms, Nick. Wet your beak into that 70 penny area, Joe.
Wet it. Yeah, we're posted up, guys. I looked for a move here on the TQs. Came down, and then I was like, all right, let's get out break even just in case. And then it did put in a new high of the day. Yeah, I know. I just watched it pull another rug right there. Adam James was mad at himself. Yeah, I'm mad tired too, man.
I don't know what
I got to hit the gym too as well. So,
Sames.
But yeah, here it is,
day.
71.69. We'll see if we can get that level to come into play, and then maybe we get a move lower for the kid. But guys, it's 2 o'clock. Oh, no, it's not. We got another 10 seconds. We can't rush the process.
Didn't we give them 3 yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know what I do? But hold on. Now, let me finish here. Before, I think we should send it over a little bit earlier just so we can get a new
I'm not liking that camera right there, man.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
It's like in the middle of the screen.
I would suggest that it doesn't, it's not there very long. Under the rest of the week. Yeah, I'm going to go under. I don't know if it's going to remain.
I don't know, there. Katina, man. Like, it's there. Well, Fabian is following instructions.
Yeah, he's just... Sometimes you got to fight back.
Katina Man just dunked on Fabian. Oh, my days.
Not well, Fabian.
Katina Man's locked and loaded. He's ready to go. Yeah. Neil's locked and loaded. He's going to stand under the camera. Get it, Neil. He's already
good to go. We're all ready. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's that time, man. These guys are ready to rock and roll. I hope everyone had a fantastic day. I'm a little peckish, so we're going to send you guys off. We're going to eat some lunch.